Across the UK, online and on DAB.
A new kind of talk radio. We'll get you talking. Talk radio.
Well, thanks, guys. You've left me literally...
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
It might seem crazy wearing stripes of pride. I Instagram every meal I've had. All my used liquor bottles are on display. We can go to see a show, but I'll make you pay. Wear my belt with suspenders and sandals with my socks. Got some new glitter rugs and lovely pink sequin Crocs. Never let you forget some favor I did for you. If you're okay with that, you might just be tacky too. I meet some chick, ask her this and that. Like, are you pregnant, girl, or just really fat? Well, now I'm dropping names almost constantly. That's what Kanye West keeps telling me. Here's why. Wear my Ed Hardy shirt with fluorescent orange pants. Got my new resume, it's printed in Comic Sans. Think it's fun threatening waiters with a bad Yelp review. If you think that's just fine, then you're probably tacky too. Bring me shame, can't nothing. Bring me shame, I never know why. Bring me shame, can't nothing. Bring me shame, I said. Bring me shame, can't nothing. Bring me shame, it's pointless to try. Bring me shame, can't nothing. Bring me shame, I said. 43 bumper stickers and a YOLO license plate. Bring along my coupon book whenever I'm on a date. Practice my twerking moves in line at the DMV. Took the whole bowl of restaurant mints, hey, you said they're free. I'll get drunk at the bank and take off my shirt at least. I would live tweet a funeral, take selfies with the deceased. If I'm being by a zombie, probably not telling you. Hey, if you don't think that's bad, guess what? Then you're tacky too.
See, yes. Weird Al's going to be on the show later on this evening. Reminds me, I ordered a Weird Al CD. Where has that gone? That's not arrived yet, has it? Literally, I'm holding up a blank piece of paper. You can't see it because I've not set up Periscope, so I haven't bothered. Literally a blank piece of paper. There's nothing. I went through the newspapers today, and there is absolutely nothing in them. It's all Great British Bake Off and Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and it's just like I'm not interested or touched by either of those stories. So unless you are interested or touched by either of those stories, there's nothing in the papers for you at all today. Imagine you'd spent... How much does the paper cost? Bloody hell, the Daily Mirror's 65 pence. Sweet Lord, the Daily Star's 30 pence. Oh, brilliant, the Sun's 50 pence. That's bargain. But if you've spent money on a newspaper, flipping heck, I'd be demanding a refund, because there's nothing in there. And the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie thing, I mean, there's kids involved and stuff, you know, and there's kids involved, and he smoked pot. She was feisty. He drank. There's a picture of them supposedly arguing on a balcony, and it says, "Look closely. Brad Pitt appears to be holding what looks like a bottle of beer." What? So from that, he's a wife-beating, crack-addicted alcoholic? Is that what we're... even if he was, I couldn't care less! Even if he was, I literally couldn't care less. I'm trying to think how many Angelina Jolie films I've seen. None. I'm in an Angelina Jolie film, and I've not even seen that! I've not even seen past the first 10 minutes of Beyond Borders. I'm in it. You can go and IMDb me. I'm in it. I went and saw it at the cinema. I was in New York when it came out. I went and saw it at the cinema. Once my bit was up, I was like, right, I'm off. Not watching the rest of this. Looks rubbish. Have I seen another film she's been in? No. How many Brad Pitt films have I seen? 3. Name those Brad Pitt films. Okay, I'll name 3. World War... Now, you've got to say World War Z, because it sounds like 3, I've discovered. That's what it's called, World War Z. It's not World War Z, it's World War Z, World War 3. I've seen that. I've seen... Oh, wait, 499-1000, by the way. Jim, you're going to be the first caller, and boy, it's going to be exciting. I've seen 12 Monkeys, and I guess... I can't remember it, but I guess... I've seen Thelma and Louise. I guess I've seen that. Because when did Thelma and Louise come out? Let's pick a year. Could be 89. I'm going to say 92. And I sort of remember them. I sort of remember the bit at the end when they... Jim?
Ian.
What year was Thelma and Louise?
Oh, it must be about 84, 85.
84? Are you nuts? I was not 11, Jim, when Thelma and Louise came out.
So, what year do you think it was then?
That is an excellent comeback, Jim. I admire your.
What's your take on it?
Well, I've said 92, but now I'm doing the thing. There's a psychological thing. I can't remember what it's called. But when people are guessing years or prices on their own, they guess higher. But then when they're guessing in groups, they guess lower.
If only Bruce Forsyth was here, he would know about it.
It's the Bruce Forsyth effect. Lower. I'm going to say, in that case, 1989. But I still think,
maybe
I think it was...
like the 90s.
Well, you said 84, and now you're saying it's more like...
80s. No, but maybe you're right. Maybe it was more than the 90s.
I'm going to say 1990. That's my final offer. Thelma, that's my final answer. Lock it in. Make the thing go gold. I'm saying Thelma and Louise was 1990.
I was a child, Ian, my granddad had his own house before he went into a home. And in his house, he had quite a large library. And I remember reading a book called Death Takes a Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Meet Joe Black with Brad Pitt. So we're back round to where we were earlier.
Brad Pitt wrote Death Takes a Holiday?
No. He was in Meet Joe Black, which was based on Death Takes a Holiday. One
of my favourite films, and if you were to show it now, people wouldn't get it, right? But I remember this film being brilliant, right? And I can't remember what it's called. It's either called Death by Murder. No, it's not. It's called Murder by Death.
Murder by Death.
Murder by Death.
A great film.
Murder by Death, right, is brilliant. You've got Peter Sellers as Charlie Chan.
Yep.
You've got Peter Falk as a Columbo-type detective.
Yeah, he plays Columbo in that film.
Yeah,
essentially.
But they weren't allowed to use the name Columbo. So, but he's being Columbo. Is David Niven in it?
Yeah, Niven's in it. It's basically the cast from The Party.
Yes, it is. Birdie Num Nums.
And
there's an old... Your cat's called Num Nums because of The Party?
I have a cat called Num Nums.
Oh, Birdie Num Nums.
Yeah, well, because we watched it when I was trying to entertain a poorly child one day, and we watched The Party because I had it on DVD and nothing else. I had no internet, and literally about...
How did The Party go down? Because it's quite slow.
No, she loved it.
And racist.
Where he's got a piece of paper wrapped around his foot. That was the funniest thing ever.
Then they all paint the elephant all psychedelic, don't they?
You do indeed, yeah. Well, the film tails off The beginning.
Is it? What does she sing? What does she sing in there? She sings. Does she sing Moon River? No. She sings a really anyway. And then there's an old woman who's supposed to be Miss Marple, and then there's another famous detective. And my favourite scene in that is when one of the detectives leaves the dining room and then comes back and it's empty, and then he goes out and comes back in again and everyone's there, and it's like there's an alternate dining room.
So we're talking about nostalgia. Have you watched the Netflix programme Stranger Things?
I deliberately didn't watch the last 2 episodes.
But you watched some of them, then?
I think there are 8 episodes. I watched 6, and then deliberately just to screw with Netflix and their stats.
Amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, I've not watched the last 2, and I never will.
You enjoyed the other ones? Did you? Or not?
What other ones? The other episodes?
Yeah, the other episodes. Yeah.
Well, I thought I was enjoying them.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't enjoying them.
Very much. You didn't enjoy them?
No.
Something that made me want to do, which I've never done in my entire life, and I think you could have possibly have a phone-in based around this.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey, a Dungeons and Dragons ride!
Yeah, I've never played that.
Do you not remember the cartoon, though?
I remember that, yeah, with Uni.
Hey, a Dungeons and... I don't know how old the people were in that, but wasn't one of the girls really fit?
That's inappropriate.
Well, it's I
can't remember.
The thing is, all right, is it paedophilia?
I remember being young.
Jim, is it paedophilia if it's a cartoon?
Is my... I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to be in love with the girl from the Wonder Years, and then when I saw it recently, I went, "Oh, she's a child."
Well,
but I was a child when I was in love with her.
Yeah. Well, I once had Jim. I once had sex with a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, how old were you?
I happened to be 16 at the time, you see. Yeah, so when you put it in that you say that sentence, it's all you, Tree. But no, I was 16. Here's the thing, Jim, right? For a significant part of my life, I found 15-year-old girls sexually attractive. I was about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 when I did.
Yeah.
But, and now I don't find them, This is a strange conversation you've...
I did not...
...dragged me into, Jim.
I did not start the conversation.
Very
strange.
I
was talking about Dungeons and Dragons. You started talking about your heberophilic antics.
Mathematically, we're all paedophiles.
Who says that?
That's going to be the quote that they're going to put on my gravestone. We played Dungeons...
Illuminated letters, which...
Yes.
You didn't ask for that.
Hey, do you remember when, this is serious now. Do you remember when they smashed up Savile's, Savile had a massive gravestone.
They buried him facing down. How strange is that?
They did. Oh, did they?
Yeah, they buried him.
Facing down?
Yeah, his corpse was straight down. In the ground.
Oh, well, it was straight down. I thought they buried him at a 45-degree angle. So he was looking out.
Oh, yeah.
Over all the.
I suppose he wasn't down. Clubs. He was up. His feet were down and his head was up.
Yeah, I think he was at a 45-degree angle, and he had the biggest, most ostentatious
erection.
Behind. Yeah, no, he did. I don't mind. But with the gravestone, and then they smashed it up. I think didn't they move the body as well?
I don't know whether they smashed it up. Did they?
Mm.
I remember
they did.
Friend Limmy was calling for them to exhume him.
Well,
but I don't know whether that actually happened.
No, they definitely smashed the gravestone, and I've got a feeling they dug up the body, and maybe they cremated it after that.
I think they catapulted it into the sea.
Well, they could have done. Well,
Noel Evans.
Sorry?
I listened to your recent...
Let me just say, for legal reasons, there's no link between anything we've spoken about. This is a fresh brand. In fact, and to punctuate it, Jim, and to make sure Litigious Edmonds doesn't get his greasy palms on my cash, we're going to have a break.
Uncut after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Very exciting to see Ray is posting stills from my starring appearance alongside Angelina Jolie, and that really is great memories. I got flown out to Canada, right? I think I got flown out first class to Canada and put up in the same hotel that who's the old black actor, Jim? And isn't it sad that by saying who's the old black actor, we're only
Sidney
talking...
Poitier.
No, not... Okay, a little bit younger than Sidney Poitier.
Morgan Freeman.
Thank you very much indeed. And that shows that even in hang on a second, even in 2016, he's enough talk, didn't he? Even in 2016, was still a racist world where we say the old black actor and the second person that's named is the one I was thinking of. I was staying in the same hotel as him.
Oh. Andy Dufresne was the...
Have you been smoking drugs?
No, I have not.
Have you been drinking?
I was trying to do Morgan Freeman.
Because you don't know, you're talking more than me, and I'm getting paid to talk.
No, Morgan Freeman was, I wish that I could tell you that Andy fought a good fight. And that is...
He wasn't German. I wish that I could tell you Andy fought a good fight.
That little penguin danced the time of that, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
This is like what you're like when you're straight. Imagine what you're like when you're high. Imagine you're on cocaine.
Crackers.
0844 499 1000. By the way, guys, because I've got
Right, can we go back to Noel Edmonds?
Oh, Struth.
Back to his behaviour.
Yes.
That we've seen. I mean, recently I've seen some of his bonkers stuff, but some of his past bonkers stuff is comedy gold. What is wrong with Noel Edmonds?
What are you talking about? The phoning the cat, I think, is genius.
Have you seen his? He had a show that was like Britain is Broken, or something like that.
Yeah, it's good.
And he had this rant about. I don't even know what it was about. It was about like people just taking the mickey out of Britain somehow.
No, his rant was that he was trying to get something done about a soldier, and the local council involved weren't interested in helping because they didn't like to talk to entertainment shows. That was what he got angry about, and rightfully so.
There's a 7,000 named petition. We invited the council to come on the show. They declined. Their head of press, Jim Vandenbos, actually said, "We don't talk to entertainment shows like yours." Well, actually, Mr. Vandenbos, I've got a message for you. Don't simply think this is an entertainment show and decide then that you don't want to talk to us. Because Mark Prince...
You see, actually, when you look at it, Jim, it all makes perfect sense.
Everything that Noel Edmonds says sort of makes perfect sense.
Yeah, of course it does.
You're a fascist, I suppose.
No. Come on, I'm not. I got the steady on now. I'm not going to let you call Noel Edmonds a fascist for crying out loud.
Well, a fascist sympathiser, maybe.
No, Jim. Seriously, I can't let you do that because that's libel. So I'm not letting you get away with that. I'm not letting you get away.
I have actually been accused of libel by you before.
Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should.
Up my game.
No,
a little bit.
You should roll. God, shut up. Maybe you should just roll back a little bit on all the libelous accusations you're tossing around.
I'm sure that Noel Edmonds is a nice man.
Yeah, but he is.
The beard. I'm sure that there is something within him that is human.
Yes.
But I think it would take...
Are you sure you're not on drugs?
I'm sure I'm not on drugs.
Okay, wowzers, that's worrying.
Why? Do I really sound like I'm on drugs?
Yes, you do. Yeah, because it's rambling nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. Okay. Well, do you remember Radiant Silver Gun, Ian?
The Radiant Silver Gun? Oh, God. Yes, I do remember that. Thank you very much indeed. 0844 499 1000. So, honestly, I have nothing for the show this evening. We're going to play Weird Al Yankovic a little bit later on, an interview I recorded with him last week. Whereas yesterday's show was jam-packed with stuff. We had Scroobius Pip, and we had Peter Ormerod, whose cat had received a phone call from Noel Edmonds. Tonight, got no guest lineup, which is groovy. But then my usual fallback is to go through the papers and have a look at what's going on but it's all Brad Pitt and Great British Bake Off. That's all it is. So, unless you call in, guys, we're in big trouble tonight. Big trouble. 08, the phone number, 0844 499 1000. We call you back. I mean, you can talk about Great British Bake Off and Brad Pitt, but neither of those things... it's so funny watching them be front-page stories, because neither of those things interest me or have an impact on my life. Let's go to Gary Redrup from the Custard Bumhole podcast. Good evening, Gary.
Oh,
I
didn't
know you had names.
Well, yeah.
How is Custard Bumhole doing these days?
It's going all right, yeah. We talk about the Great British Bake Off.
Oh,
so I'm not going to do that tonight.
Honestly, and I understand it's, 15 million viewers. It's a big show, right? It's a big show. And it's about more. The story is about more than just a television show. It's about the BBC being beaten to its knees by the government.
It's about money.
It's about money. It's about friendship. It's about loyalty. We're all celebrated that Mel and Sue and now Mary Berry are staying with the BBC, and they'll be justly rewarded. And we're all thinking, what a snivelling little SH1T Paul Hollywood is again.
Yeah, there's a lot of backlash.
But the thing, exactly. But the thing is, right? We probably do. He gets paid. I think he gets paid like 60 grand a series, right, or a year, or whatever. It's a lot of money, but in TV, it's not a lot of money. And he goes to Channel 4. He'll get what, 200,000? Yeah. So
plus also, unlike the others. I don't know. I don't think he really has a future on the BBC, like a lot of people.
No, so, and good luck to him.
He didn't make Channel 4 buy the programme.
And here's the thing: the BBC will turn around and shaft people just as quick as they will celebrate people.
They got a history of that, I believe.
Yeah, they have got a history of that. So while I respect Mel and Sue's loyalty, I hope that Mary Berry fails. I hope that they don't find a vehicle for her, and that Mel and Sue get their own show, and that Paul Hollywood succeeds on Channel 4, and Mary Berry looks like the SH1T. That's what I hope. That's in my heart of hearts, Gary Redrup from Custard Bumhole podcast. That's what I hope will happen. That's what I would happen.
I actually ran up to talk about Noel Edmonds.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Because I heard him on Radio 2 today.
He was talking to a cat on the Jeremy Vine show, is that correct?
He was, yes. And the cat was now... What was the name of the Irish singer from the 70s? Was it Dana?
Dana, yeah.
Yeah, the cat was called Dana, and the first thing he said was, you share the name of a successful Irish singer. And he was talking to the cat like it was a person.
Yeah.
And it was just weird. And then
Why?
he confirmed that because... Cats aren't people. They can't talk back.
Well, funnily enough, here's the thing. I was going to the toilet this morning for it was a slash, if I'm completely honest. Yeah. And the cat was in the way, and I said, "Excuse me, please, Velvet." I actually said that. I went, "Excuse me, please, Velvet." I said that out loud, and as I said it, I thought, "Oh, that was stupid."
Okay, that was practical.
Well, but she moved. Yeah. But I could have just gone, get out of it.
Something like that, yeah.
But I said, "Excuse me, please, Velvet." And I went and I did what I needed to do.
Then he spoke to. Then he confirmed that he had actually spoken to both a python and a hamster. And then he spoke to a dog, and the dog was like a rescue dog. So he started off by going, "It's okay, it's all right," and oh man, it was.
Did he do any? Did he do any of the whispering? Because what I would have done, is I would have talked to it, and then I'd have gone, "You guys won't. This is not for you." And I'm going.
He got them to play a song.
Good. But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't animals enjoy music?
But why would you think that would be the correct thing to do? I understand what you're saying, that, make music therapy and all that, but why would you go there?
What do you mean, I don't understand, why would you not go there? Why would you, the thing is, we all know that animals can make music.
Yeah.
Hang on, here it comes. Here it comes. Okay. Doing a game.
Oh, yeah.
So if animals... If animals can make music, why would they not enjoy music?
Do you know what? The whole thing felt very uncomfortable. And, like, I couldn't tell if Edmonds was taking it seriously or not. Even he was slightly taking the mick out of it.
Here's the thing. What a surprise. He's filming a 40-week-long television programme for Channel 4, and he's launching a new radio station for pets.
Yeah,
so,
he got that in.
There we go. I like this bit.
Do you think you should ask James Whale?
Oh, James has left BBC Essex, hasn't he?
Yeah, but Whale pet.
I see. I wonder where... I wonder where James Whale's going to end up.
Yeah, I know he's covering somewhere next week, isn't he, or something?
I wonder.
Yeah. Who first thought of that?
Is it the worst kept secret in show business that he's covering here for a week, and he'll probably end up here?
Well, didn't it also say on some press release I saw that he wants to join a national station?
Yeah, he'll be back here. Let's be honest, guys.
Right.
I don't know anything, but I think it's all pretty obvious, isn't it?
And then Boyd, and then Mendoza.
Boyd's not replying to my emails. Which makes me always makes me suspicious.
His number if you want it.
I've got his number. I'm not phoning up his landline. His mobile's changed. Anyway, we're getting. Hang on. Here we go.
Geeky.
Hang on. Let's get the ending.
Yep.
There we go. You see, if they can make music, they can enjoy music.
I'm not one of those people. I've never had a pet. No, that's not true. I had a goldfish, but never a pet that would a walking pet, shall we say?
Well, so, maybe you should get one.
You know what I mean? Not a proper pet.
What do you mean you've had like lame pets?
No, I've had a goldfish.
Crippled pets.
That was it. No, but the fish can't walk.
There's a brilliant Monty Python sketch, isn't there? And do you know what? I haven't watched Monty Python for a long time. It might be time for me to reevaluate this series. Isn't there a brilliant Monty Python sketch when Terry Jones is playing the mice, and he has rows of mice, and he just smashes them with mallets, and they squeak in tune. And
what song does he do? I can't remember. It's a fairly famous one.
I don't know. Gary Redford from Custard Up My Bumhole podcast. Well, thanks for calling.
I didn't get paid for the interview, by the way. Just where do I send the invoice?
Thank you very much indeed. 0844 499 1000.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Let me just press this button here. Oh, now, what a time to be alive. The internet's not working. It was working perfectly before. Hang on a second. Bear with me. Click on here. Here we go. This is Radio 4, guys.
Frank, what age were you when you went to Battersea Dogs Home? You don't know? You were abandoned as a puppy. So you don't know who your parents are.
This is from Radio 4, guys. What? That's from Radio 4. That's JP, the excellent JP Devlin, interviewing a dog. Funnily enough, thank you for that, JP. Funnily enough, when I was out walking the dog the other day, I heard some birds talking. Some birds. They all said, what did they say? It sounded like they were saying a word. And I actually turned around and said, what did you say? And they said it again. It was the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing. Isn't there a story about... I don't know, not really. Anyway. Andrew!
Hip, Ian. Hip, Ian. There you go.
Hip. Yes.
How's things?
Yeah?
Good?
What? Say that again, Andrew.
How are things?
Honestly?
Probably not.
No. There we go. Well, don't ask the question if you don't want the answer.
The answer, yeah. True. I've just come back from LA. I was at the Monkees concert.
You were at the Monkees concert, the last concert to feature Michael Nesmith of the Monkees performing. Good for you. How was it?
It was great. I'd never been to one before, and it was sold out, and there was a great vibe there. I had a guy who's about the size of Cyril Smith sitting in front of me.
Yeah, there's those Americans. They're big. They're big people.
They are, yeah. I felt very svelte next to them, which was quite fun.
They're good fun, those shows. I've been to the States to see those three monkeys, and I did consider going to this one, but I just couldn't justify it. But they're a lot of. They put on a good show, don't they?
They do. I didn't realise the Daydream Believer that David Jones has got some real moves in that video.
Yeah, in the Rainbow Room, he invented the Axl Rose dance.
Yeah, and I know it sounds odd, but I always thought Daydream Believer was wake up, sleepy Jesus, which I don't think would have made sense. Wake up, sleepy Jesus. Yeah, I thought it'd be more of a religious song because it's quite spiritual.
You thought the lyrics were "Wake up, sleepy Jesus"?
Yes.
Are you nuts?
Yes.
Hang on a second.
In a good way.
Hang on a second. Let's hang on. Let's just see how you could possibly hear.
It's not.
Hang on. Here we go.
I know it isn't.
I just want to see how you could get it so hideously wrong. Hang on.
Beneath the wing of the bluebird as she sings.
Listen to it. This is the most perfect pop song of all time. Here we go. So we're listening for the lyrics, "Wake up, sleepy Jesus." Hang on, here we go. Here we go.
What's its ring? And I ride while
Here we
we
go.
sleep.
Here it comes. "Wake up, sleepy Jesus."
We're shaven razors cold and it stings. Wake up, sleepy Jesus.
Yep.
You are absolute. Wait, is everybody? Did they legalise crack? Because everybody tonight is completely whack.
No, then the next line will be about I'm being crucified and I'm enjoying it or something like that. And obviously they'd be in more trouble than the Beatles were for saying
not
that.
only have you misunderstood the Monkees lyrics, I think you've misunderstood the story of the crucifixion as well.
I have. The other thing I did in Los Angeles was something for charity. I walked 32 miles from Pasadena to Santa Monica for a cancer charity. And I did that the day after I got off the plane.
Hang on, you walked 72 miles?
32 miles.
Hang on, you walked 32 miles?
Yeah.
With respect?
That's crap, is it?
It's not, I mean... And listen, hey, you're doing it for a cancer charity. Who am I to knock? What have I done for a cancer charity this week? Not a lot. But 32 miles sounds imminently and eminently doable.
It's not.
Well, did you do it?
My feet look like they've been hatcheted and mashed and corned and everything. They're not in good shape.
What were you walking in, though? Did you have to do it barefoot?
No, running shoes, like Nike running shoes.
Oh, you should. That was your mistake. You should have been wearing walking shoes, not running shoes. You walked it, yeah? Didn't run it?
You know, I did it in 12 hours with 2 hours of breaks, which wasn't too bad, and it was about 90 degrees.
I could probably... Well, the heat is the thing, but I think I could walk 32 miles in about 3 hours.
Hang on, you're 6 foot.
Oh, no, hang on a minute. 3 hours. No, hang on. That's because it's longer than a marathon. I run a marathon in just under 3 hours. I could... Well, I mean, it's just walking, though. Did you have a Walkman on or something?
Oh, yeah. I had an iPod, loads of music. I had...
Cheer up, wake up, sleepy Jesus.
Yeah, sleepy Jesus.
The Sleepy Jesus song, yes.
And I went through all kinds of areas, Beverly Hills, all kinds of parts of Los Angeles, and ended up. What I was going to do was I was going to do Pasadena to Long Beach, which meant going through South Central Los Angeles. But my dad balked at doing that.
Was you worried you're going to get someone's going to pop a cap in your ass?
Yes, exactly. He was going to ride alongside me. Now, two white guys in South Central Los Angeles, me walking, and him in his car. I mean, I think he would have been pulled over for something. I remember
when myself and two other white middle-class guys, one of whom is now a big movie director in the States, the other is, was the head of comedy for for BBC One. I don't know if he's still there. Probably not, because he commissioned The Persuasionists. And we went to San Francisco, and we discovered this shop called the Banana Republic, which we didn't have over here in the UK at the time. But basically, they sell very white clothes, right, for very white middle-class people. And we went to a nightclub, and let's say we were drunk, right? We discovered vodka. No, what was it? Vodka and Red Bull. That's what we discovered, amongst other things, but primarily vodka and Red Bull. And we came out of this club, and we got lost, and we were in the arse end of San Francisco at 3 o'clock in the morning, off our mash, and my mate James gets a massive fold-out map out and unfolds this map. And I said, I'm not being funny, James, right, but let's just walk confidently in any direction, because you have now painted a target on our backs by opening a fold-out map.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to understand the area you're in, and but the problem with the walking map to South Central and through to Long Beach is that it's mainly on the freeway, so it's pretty difficult terrain. Whereas going to Santa Monica is a lot easier because it's all built over and it's very middle class.
Here's a question for you, Andrew, and if you don't get it, we'll put it to our other listeners.
Okay.
What television series starred a dog called Freeway?
Cool.
That's a good question.
Chips.
Don't swear if you don't know the answer.
I said chips.
Oh, I do apologise. No, that's the incorrect answer. 08444 499 1000.
Late night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Literally nothing to talk about. And I know sometimes I come and go, I've got nothing to talk about, but I might have a few ideas jotted down or a few things from the papers. There is nothing in the papers tonight. Nothing. The Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie thing, I just think, it's a bit sad. There are, how many kids involved? Like 6 or something? And the Great British Bake Off, I've never seen it. I don't really watch TV. I've become one of those people. I don't really watch TV. The last time I watched something on TV as it went out was the other night when that Robbie Coltrane, what was it called? The Nonce, the Crabtree, U-Tree, National Treasure. We watched that, and can I say I didn't think the acting was very good. Nick Coltrane was excellent as always. Julie Walters, excellent as always. Was it Julie Walters? Yes. And the rest of it I thought was a little bit ropey. And before that, the last thing I watched, deliberately sat down and watched because it was on telly, was Louis Theroux when he did the programme about alcoholics. But I don't really watch TV. And I was out with my friend Dougie Anderson, who I'm persuading to come on the show again soon, and he will. This evening, we went out for a meal, right, along the South Bank, London's South Bank, which is where the the South Bank show gets its name from. In fact, fans, and I suggested somewhere like Giraffe. I was saying, let's go along this way. There's somewhere like Giraffe. He went, well, why don't we go over here? I know a place. And we went to a place over there. And it was obviously the place to be. Alan and Leslie, I will come to you one day, I promise. 0844 499 1000. It was obviously the place to be because there was a Sawala there. And when we left, the Sawala was talking to another former loose woman who I'd worked with. I could have said hello to her, but I don't remember her name now, so I couldn't. So it was the place to be. And they had massive burgers there, so these massive burgers. Right? The burgers are expensive. The burgers are about £11, £12, big burgers. And the chili con carne was £2 more than the burgers, £14.50 the chili con carne. We both went, oh yeah, let's have some chili con carne. The burgers are big. The chili con carne is going to be a doozer. And it was tiny. It was one of those things where it wasn't on a plate. It was on like a sort of tray. And the chili con carne was in like a little bowl. Except it wasn't mincemeat. It was bits of beef. Big chunks of beef. And 4 kidney beans. Then there was some bread to wrap it in. And then there was some red cabbage. And then there were 4 potatoes. And we both looked at it and went, what? And I did something that I've never been able to do before. The waiter came home and said, how's your food, sir? I went, small. And he laughed and went, no, this is really small. We saw the burgers. They were massive. We thought this was going to be bigger than the burgers. And also, you're supposed to get rice with the chili con carne. He went, I'll tell the kitchen. Like they're going to do anything about it. You know, we got the food. We're eating it already. So that was disappointing. And it didn't sour an otherwise excellent night of seeing Douglas Anderson, who you should all go and buy his book. Leslie!
Hello, Ian.
You know when the waiter comes... You've been out for a meal before, haven't you, Leslie?
Yeah, 1 or 2 times.
Where did you go?
Me? Germany, Paris, Barbados, Jamaica, London.
Wow, that's a long way to go for a meal. That's a long way to go for a meal. We just went down the road.
Oh.
When the
These are some of the places I used to go.
Okay. For a meal, yeah? You went to Germany for a meal?
When I'm in Germany, I go to a nice restaurant.
When you're in Germany, you eat there, do you? Yeah. How long were you in Germany for?
No, we normally make trips down onto Europe. We did it for about 20 years.
Jamaica's not in Europe, mate. Jamaica's not in Europe, mate. Sorry, I'm not having that.
But there's Jamaica Street in this country.
So you went to Jamaica? Jamaica? No, she went of her own accord. When the waiter...
I heard that joke before. Yeah, it's a very old one.
Jerk chicken? If I can catch the bloody thing, I will. It doesn't even make sense. When the waiter comes over and says, how is your meal, sir? Right? Have you ever said, that's not very good? Or, as I said tonight, it's a bit small.
Yeah. You try to be nice. Whether the meal is nice, whether the meal is big or small, you're just trying to be nice.
What if the meal isn't nice? Would you say, oh, it's really nice, thank you? Or would you go, this is rubbish?
Well, no, I would definitely say, no, it's not nice, and I would say that I won't come back. As simple as that.
How? So that's quite... So you've changed your tune quite quickly, Leslie. You've gone from being nice to actually being quite confrontational.
It's all
Do you have
depends.
anger issues?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Wow. What would I have to do now to see those anger issues for myself?
Like, just be calm, right? I mean, a mistake could have been a mistake.
I want to get you angry. I want to hear angry Leslie. What buttons do I have to press to get you riled up?
To get me angry?
Yes, sir.
Quite a lot.
Give me a clue. You thick muppet. Does that help? Does that get you angry? It's quite rude to you there. Very rude.
No. Call me a racist name.
Oh, I thought you said call you a racist.
Or give me the finger on the road.
I'm giving you the finger from both hands right now.
Well, I would race towards you.
Okay, come on, race. All right, mate. Both giving you the finger now. Giving you the finger, and I can't be racist on the radio, but I'm thinking. What?
And try to ram your car.
What, in your car?
No, I would race towards you and try to ram your car.
You're going to ram my car?
Yes, your fancy.
Just as a human being, you're going to run into my car?
Yes.
That's insane.
Anyway, Ian, right? I've got a story.
Yes, Leslie. Coming to you in a minute, Alan.
Yeah, I've got a story. I once had a gun pulled on me in
what?
By an American female police.
Wow, okay.
In Bedford.
Hang on. An American female police officer. I thought you were going to tell me a story of Black Lives Matter and the racist situation in America.
No, I don't go down those roads.
No, but this was in Bedford. An American policewoman pulled a gun on you in Bedford.
In Bedford, yes. I know it sounds strange.
It sounds. I've got to hear more.
Well, I don't know if anyone remember Chick's Hand, Bedford.
Well, the place, yes.
No, the American base.
Oh yeah, the American base, Chick's Hand in Bedford, yes.
Yeah, I went there for a night out at the Black American Heritage Do.
Yes.
And on our way out, I was with my friend and my wife in my new Ford Granada. This was in the 80s.
Beautiful, yeah.
And on the way out, I come to a T-junction.
Yes.
Which, to me, just normal drive. So it was early morning. There was no cars around. So I didn't stop. I go across the T-junction. Then suddenly there was blue light flashing behind me and coming towards me. So I stopped. Yeah. It was this big, those big, ugly American cars, the police cars.
Yes.
They're not nice stuff like
They've got American police cars at the American base. That's in Bedford. That seems a lot of effort to bring American police cars over, like the one TJ Hooker had, yeah?
Yeah, the big black and white thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a European car.
No, let's be racist, mate, but yeah, go on.
And she came out and said, "So, sir, why was the reason we stopped?"
Yes.
She said, "Well, you violate traffic laws."
Oi.
So I said, "What traffic law have I violate?"
Yes.
She said, "You didn't stop at the junction."
Oh.
I said, "But there wasn't any reason for me to stop."
Do you have to drive on the other side of the road at the American Air Force Base?
I can't remember which side I was driving on.
You were pissed.
To tell the truth.
Yes.
No.
A little bit? No? In the 80s, it was all the rage to drive around pissed. Everyone did it.
Yeah, no.
It was encouraged.
So, anyway, we had an argument, and she pulled out her gun out of her holster.
Jeez, how do you... That escalated quickly. What were you arguing about for her to pull out a gun?
Because I said to her, as far as I'm concerned, she said, I'm driving on American soil. I said, no, I'm driving on British soil.
No, you're
in
not.
England.
That American base, there are a few bits of the United Kingdom that belong to the Americans. That is American soil. There's another bit as well. Didn't we give them? There's a memorial somewhere to American soldiers, and it's on a... Have I got this right? Someone will let me know. 0844 499 1000. Isn't there a memorial to American soldiers from World War II, and it's on a farm somewhere in England, and that bit of land on this farm belongs to America? I'm sure that's true. And every year the Americans go and clean it up and tidy it all up and stuff. Anyway, did she shoot you dead?
No, my friend, he came out of the car and he says to her, "If you don't put back that gun in your holster, I will take it and ram it, and well, I won't go further." And then,
oh God, that's really gosh, don't you go advocating yourself as a spokesperson for Black Lives Matter, will you? Because I mean that attitude really isn't going to help anybody.
And anyway, she let us go. She escorted us out of the base.
Yes.
And I was glad, and I've said I will never come back on this place again.
Yeah, well, that's that really is lucky you, huh, Leslie? Hello?
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 Can you hear me, Leslie?
Yeah, yes I can.
Hello?
Hello?
Leslie? Have we lost Leslie? Hello, Leslie?
Hello?
Leslie?
Hello?
Have we lost Leslie? I think we've lost Leslie. Hello, Leslie? Hello?
Hello? Iain?
I can't hear him now. Where's he gone? That's weird, isn't it? Leslie? Oh, he's actually gone now. Put the phone down there. Oh, man. Yes, Alan.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, hip, hip.
First of all, I've got some big news.
Pray tell, Alan, what is it?
My mum's coming home.
Yay, Rep fans. That's good. Oh, brilliant. When's she
She'll
coming?
be home tomorrow morning.
Hey, nice one. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, me and me dad are.
Although, just remember, Alan, you're going to have to work bloody hard.
I will be.
Yeah, you've got to be on your bestest behaviour.
I'll be twice as hard working.
Yes, exactly. And how long will that last, you lazy so-and-so?
As long as it takes.
Well done, you. You're a good lad, Alan.
And also, I've been trawling online tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I found some old Argos catalogues. You remember Argos?
Yeah, because it's like still going and stuff.
Yeah, I found the very first catalogue from 1973.
The year I was born.
And some of the toys in there was unbelievable. Like Space Hoppers, Evel Knievel, to name two examples.
Yes, that is it. Okay. Well, Alan, stay there, because I'm keen to hear more about. What am I complaining about? I'm paid to do this show, and I've got literally nothing. Alan, stay there. We'll get the latest on that. If you want to take part in the show, as you've heard tonight, we have very, very low standards. You can give us a call, 0844 499 1000, 0844 499 1000. We call you back. It's not one of those shows where we're going to sit here and tell you what we're talking about. And, well, whose side are you on, Brad or Angelina's? Or what do you think about Paul Hollywood being a apparent snake in the grass? He's not. He's going where the money's gone. Good for him. I'm not going to set up my stall like that. You can call in about whatever you want. Alan's called in because he's been trawling on the internet and found some old Argos catalogues. We'll find out more about those Argos catalogues after this.
Across the UK, online and on DAB. Access all radios.
Talk Radio. Give it some lip. Talk Radio.
We'll get more from Alan in a little bit, and also tonight we're going to hear from Weird Al Yankovic. The man is an absolute legend. 0844 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Everybody shut up. Everyone listen up. Hey, hey, hey. If you can't write in the proper way, if you don't know how to conjugate, maybe you flunked that class, and maybe now you find that people mock you online. Okay, now here's the deal. I'll try to educate you. Gonna familiarize you with the nomenclature. You learn the definitions of nouns and prepositions. Literacy's your mission, and that's why I think it's a good time to learn some grammar. Now did I stammer? Work on that grammar. You should know it. It's less or it's fewer. Like people who were never raised in a sewer. I hate these word crimes. Like I could care less. That means you do care. At least a little. Be a moron. Hey, you better slow down and use the right pronoun. Show the world you're no clown. Say you got an IT, followed by apostrophe. Yes, now what does that mean? You would not use this in this case as a possessive. It's a contraction. What's a contraction? Well, it's the shortening of a word or group of words by omission of a single letter. Okay, now here's some notes. Syntax, you're always banging. No X in espresso. Your participles dangling. But I don't want your drama. If you really want, leave out that Oxford comma. Just keep in mind that these are you. Are words not letters? Get it together. Use the spell checker. You should never write words using numbers unless you're 7 or your name is Prince. I hate these word crimes. You really need them. Those aren't group freedom. I mean those crimes. Use them out freedom. Well, you should hire some kind of linguist to help you distinguish what is proper English. One thing I ask of you, try to learn your homophones is past due. Learn to diagram a sentence too. Always say to whom, don't ever say to who. And listen up when I tell you this. I hope you never use quotation marks for emphasis. You finished second grade, I hope you can tell if you're doing good or doing well. Better figure out the difference. Irony is not coincidence. And I thought that you'd gotten it through your skull. But what's figurative and what's literal? Oh, but just now, you said you literally couldn't get out of bed. That really makes me want to literally smack a crowbar upside your stupid head. Email. It's quite apparent. Your grammar's errant. Your incoherence. Your blog post. Your prose is dopey.
watching the videos to that, I do think... I did dump one word. I do think he's a genius. I do think he's an actual proper genius. Weird Al Yankovic will be on the show later on tonight. Good evening to listener. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. Literally nothing in the papers worth me bringing up. So I've got nothing. Nothing particularly has happened today. There's no... why does everyone think that we're interested in Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and the Great British Bake Off? So 15 million people watch the Great British Bake Off. That means, what, 40 million people don't? And that's all that seems to be in the newspapers. So... it's one of them shows where we ain't got a lot going on. And if you don't call in, then we is screwed. So, 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. I do wonder, because there's not even any big kind of mean stories in the newspaper. I wonder what the other stations are talking about. Let's have a little listen. Hang on a second. Let's just have a little listen, see what the other... The internet's very, very slow this evening, guys. Very slow. Let's have a little listen, see what the other stations... I'm here. We might have to jump past an advert. Hang on a second. Here we go. Bear with me, Alan. I'm just going to see what the other stations are up to.
Okay.
No, there's an advert. We've got to wait 30 seconds for an advert. What... I tell you, the worst things about the internet, Alan, the two worst things are adverts you can't skip, and that code thing where you've got to spot the letters amongst the wavy lines. I can never... The capture code. I like the ones where it's a number and it's like a number on a house, or click the boxes that have got clams in, but when it's typing in the letters... I can never see the letters. I've done 7. I've given up on websites because I can't get into them because of the letters. Because some, you've got to get the right capitals or lowercase, and some it doesn't matter. But even then, I'm adamant I've got it right. Hang on, here we go. Let's see what they're talking about. Hang on.
How you work that and who gets it and who is responsible or who should pay is another issue. But have you noticed, and it suddenly hit me the other day,
here we go,
as I was driving through wherever it happened to be.
Okay.
And I noticed a Bupa hospital. And it might have been, because Bupa also do kind of elderly care.
Even they're struggling to come up with interesting stuff.
That's proper Youngsville.
And they've got teams of people working on their show. I've just got mice that have been turned by a fairy godmother into hunky coachmen. That's it. And at midnight, they turn back into mice.
Well, it's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. Anyway, Alan, so you found some old Argos catalogues online.
Yeah. I'm currently looking at the Spring-Summer 1991 catalogue.
Someone's just tweeted, right? And see if you can guess why we can't talk about this. CJ from Eggheads has been arrested for murder. Might be a decent topic. What do you think, guys? What do you think? Why do you think we can't talk about it?
Because it's an ongoing investigation.
Thank you. The fact that Caddick knows the laws of subjudice better than anybody else, I think, says a lot. Of course we can't talk about it. Alan, yes, so you're looking at 1991 Argos catalogue.
I'm looking at what toys they had for Batman.
Batman toys, 91. Now, that Batman, 91, I would have been 18. That's got to be Val Kilmer territory, hasn't it?
No, it's Michael Keaton.
Was it Keaton, then? Was it really? Oh, I didn't know that.
And they had a figure of Batman's sidekick Robin, even though he wasn't in the film.
Here's a thing. I've not seen any of those Batman films. I've seen the Dark Knight films with Christian Bale, right?
Yeah.
They're good because they're really gritty. If Batman talks like that, I'm Batman, and I talk like this, and I'm going to come and kick your ass. But in a
those films are dark. There's a film where... Isn't one of those Batman films, Gotham City, is held under siege for like 3 years, I think, in that?
That was the Dark Knight Rises.
Flippin' heck! But the other Batman films, I've seen, of course, the 1966 Batman film.
With Adam West.
When he's running around carrying a bomb and he's about to throw it in the river, but there are some baby ducks. Brilliant. But I don't
remember that one. There's just some places you can't get rid of a bomb.
It's a brilliant film. But the Batman films from the 80s and the 90s, who did we have? Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer. George Clooney was Batman.
In Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I've never seen those films, and I guess I'm never going to see those films.
Unless you get them on DVD.
Are they any good?
Well, the first two are with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Batman.
And Danny DeVito as the Penguin, and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
Quite blimey.
And then you go into Val Kilmer territory with Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face and Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Feels like I've opened up. I'm trying to close a window on the computer that I can't close quick enough.
And then
there's more.
It goes all silly with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze and Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
Here's the thing, right? Is Jack Nicholson dead or alive?
No, he's still alive,
Okay.
Jack Nicholson.
Have celebrities stopped dying this year now? Because it was a bad start to the year. It feels like the last couple of months, it feels like the summer was pretty much celebrity death free.
I think, because we haven't been talking about the curse.
Okay, maybe the curse has been lifted. Here's my prediction.
Yeah.
The next one to go.
Jack Nicholson.
It's not a bad impression, actually, was it?
I'm Jack Nicholson.
If you could see my face, it's even better.
I'm Jack Nicholson.
Well, you can on Periscope.
Well, no, it's not on.
I thought the Periscope would be on tonight.
No, I couldn't be bothered. Some nights I don't do it. I tell you what, we'll do one night next week.
Yeah?
No, we'll do it tomorrow. When Kath was away, we had a couple of shows where we did a proper old-fashioned radio show where there was no texting,
no tech,
no tech, no texting, no tweeting, no Periscope. We'll do that tomorrow.
Emails.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. It's just going to be me, you, and a phone. How's about them apples?
And call straight to air as well.
Call straight to air on the last hour of the show, and on Monday it's new and newish callers only. How's about that?
Yeah.
Now we got a schedule.
Yeah, now we got things planned.
Yeah, we got ourselves a schedule.
Sounds promising.
Well, sounds promising. Well, Alan, it's been certainly filled some time talking to you.
Okay, I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Best of luck with Mum coming home. I hope it's all smooth and because I know that sometimes get that thing that everyone's ready to leave hospital and it just the doctor that needs to come and sign things off doesn't turn up. So I hope it all goes smoothly tomorrow, Alan. I hope Mum is nice and comfortable.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, mate. Take care. Bye bye. It's that frustrating thing when it's like, when you're in hospital, right? Are you there legally? What do I mean by that? If, supposing you wanted to leave hospital, could you just get up and leave? Or could a nurse go, security, Ward C, bed 3, he's trying to leave. Could they come and get you down? I mean, because there's that thing where, they say, right, we're gonna discharge you tomorrow morning, okay? You could leave then, right? Because obviously you're well enough that you could. This is a serious question, by the way. So it's 4:00 Thursday evening, and they say, "Oh no, here we go." Right, okay. This is the scenario. It's 4:00 Friday evening, and they say, "Right, well, we would let you go tomorrow, but it's the weekend, so not everybody's in, so you can go home on Monday." Well, I would go home that Friday. I'd say, "Well, I'm going to go home now, if that's okay." And they'd probably go, "Well, if you're sure." Go, "Yeah, no, fine." And you go home. Right. And supposing they did it on a Thursday, they said, right, it's 4:00 Thursday now, you can go home tomorrow, Friday morning. You could still go home then. But supposing you were hooked up to machines and stuff, and they said, right, well, you're going to be here for a couple of weeks. Would you be allowed to leave hospital then? What is the law on evacuating a hospital premises when you don't want to be there? The question kind of made sense in my head before I said it. 0844 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The radio show for people who know the best part of the day is the night.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, turns out wasn't a stupid question. Twitter has gone into meltdown. I've had 3 tweets about it. And I'll look at them later on. But basically, you can leave a hospital whenever you want. the hospital can get arsey with you, but then if they think you're going to die, they get you to sign a release form so that you can't then sue the hospital, says Catania and CJ. Tris!
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Tris.
This is exciting. According to Twitter, I'm the 6th most entertaining regular caller on this show.
Wowzers.
I'm beating Jonathan, so that's all right, isn't it?
Well, if you're beating a racist...
yeah, I'm doing something right, aren't I?
Maybe they mean the other Jonathan, the tiny one. There's like a little yappy
perhaps.
puppy.
Yeah, maybe. How's life going, mate?
You know, man. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks being a human being.
Doesn't it?
It really does, and I don't see a way out of it, not for the next 40 years or so. So, looks like we're stuck here.
Yeah, we'll be all right. We'll get there.
It'll be nice to leap like Sam Beckett in Quantum Leap, huh?
Yeah, where would you leap to?
Well, now that's an excellent question. Well, the thing is, he always leaps into losers, doesn't he, Sam Beckett?
Yeah.
Are they ever going to make?
He always comes good in the end, though, doesn't he?
He does. They were talking about. They've been talking for the last 10 years about making a Quantum Leap movie. Boy, oh boy, I would slap down my hard-earned to go and see that.
Yeah, but that's your thing, isn't it? It was all right, actually, Quantum Leap, thinking about it.
It was good. Quantum Leap was brilliant.
What was that other one? Sliders. You remember that?
I do remember Sliders, and I got really into Sliders a couple of years ago, and then I got to series 4 of 6, and it got stupid, so I stopped watching it.
Yeah, because it was quite, sensible up until then, wasn't it? I don't really remember it, to be honest. I know I watched it, but I'm going back about 20 years now.
Yeah, I liked a bit of Sliders, but it was, it got stupid really quickly. It got stupid. Okay. It got stupid about the time that Roger Daltrey appeared in it.
Oh, was he in it?
Yeah, Roger Daltrey was in it. Yeah, as an evil.
He's done a bit of acting, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, he was in stuff, but.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
He was all right in. Oh.
Hang on. No, that's low quality. Hang on. Oh, hang on. I want high quality. Here we go. High quality. Here we go. Shh. Here we go. Hang on. Oh. Here we go. Yeah! Come on! That's what I'm talking about. That's a That, Tris, what you got there, that's your proper theme tune.
Yeah.
That's your proper theme tune.
You still haven't answered my question, though. Where would you leap
I'd leap into Scott Bakula. As he was about to film the first episode of Quantum Leap.
Okay.
That's where I'd go.
And what would you change for the better?
Do you remember the one in Quantum Leap where he jumped into Al?
Oh, no, I don't.
He jumped into Al. Oh, stop sniggering at the back there. He jumped into Al, and Al's going, oh, this is outrageous. You've jumped into me, right? And he's going, there's a 40% chance you're going to... Basically, Al got court-martialed, right? And he said, what you've got to do is you've got to stop me being fired from the military, otherwise I won't be able to come and be your assistant in the 80s. And he goes, you've got a 40% chance. He's going, Sam, it's going down. There's a 35% chance.
Powers, though,
it is, yes.
He should have been court-martialed.
And then he goes, Sam, it's going down. It's a 20% chance. Sam, there's a 10%. Sam, there is a 1% chance you're going to fix this. And then the voice changes. And it's Roddy McDowall. And Roddy McDowall goes, nope, sorry, Sam, doesn't look like you're going to save him. And Sam goes, well, who the hell are you? He goes, I'm your assistant. I've been your assistant the whole time. I'm Roddy McDowall. And he goes, no, we've never met before. And he goes, no, I've been your assistant for flipping ages. And he's altered history.
Oh,
Roddy McDowall, of course. What of Roddy McDowall? Here's a showbiz question for you. 08444991000. What have Roddy... Who's the fella that... okay, yeah. What have Roddy McDowall and Errol Flynn got in common?
No idea.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave that one hanging.
But I don't know anything about people, like famous people.
I've made myself laugh.
Half the time I don't know who they are.
I've given a clue. I'm going to leave that one hanging. All right? 08444991000. What have Roddy McDowall and Errol Flynn got in common?
Okay.
Keep listening, guys.
Wasn't Scroobius Pip a gent last night?
Oh, wasn't he lovely?
I love his catalogue. I really do. Thanks for letting me talk to him.
Yeah, no, it was an absolute pleasure. It was. We had so many calls that night. And it was the first time we've had too many calls for a guest. And also, I wanted to talk to him. And suddenly it got to 7 minutes till the break and till the end. I thought, I've not even mentioned the book. The thing he's come on here to plug. Poor sod. The Scroobius Pip. We've released 2 podcasts today from yesterday's show. Scroobius Pip, the full hour is up and out there, and it's just delightful. Even if you, I know a lot of people didn't know who he was. And as a result of that hour, they've kind of checked out his podcast. We've also released the 10 minutes with Peter Ormerod, whose cat spoke to Noel Edmonds. So so that's out there. But Scroobius Pip was a gentleman, and I feel excited to know there's about 138 of his podcasts for me to trawl through, because that's going to take a bit of work. Beautiful. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I dip in and out of his podcast. I think you weren't the greatest of hosts last night, because for someone with a stutter, you should have used your technique of shouting and talking calmly.
I didn't bully him. For those who've just tuned in, there is no. I don't need to explain it. Right, I should have shouted at him for having a stutter, and that would have as we have evidenced on this show before, that would have sorted him out.
Results work for 15 seconds, don't they? So.
Yeah, it does work. Yeah, he was nice. And for those of you who want to get the book, Distraction Pieces, you can get it on Amazon, get it in bookshops. It genuinely is really inspiring, and it certainly helped me with a little creative block that I had.
I bought tickets for a signing and a reading for that. And having him on last night, I thought, I wonder when I'm going to see that. Last month, wasn't it? I forgot all about it. But,
no!
I know. Yeah, £3 I paid for that as well.
Flipping it! I paid, as you may be aware, I've paid a ton per ticket to see Matthew and Son, Cat Stevens, right?
Yeah.
And I can't. I think the tickets came, but I don't know where they are. But then I'm thinking, well, maybe the tickets didn't come. And my office...
You don't get tickets these days, do you?
Sorry?
You don't get, actual tickets
you
these
do,
days,
because I was listening to Radio 4 yesterday, you do. But now they clamp down on ticket touting. So all tickets, you've got to take photo ID to things now, right?
Right.
And they had this poor Spanish fella outside a Bjork concert. He'd paid £400 for a ticket via Viagogo. Via Viagogo, and they wouldn't let him in because it wasn't his ticket, didn't have his name on it. Gutted.
Yeah, a bit harsh, isn't it?
It is a bit harsh. But
because I know you're cutting down on the touts, but it's the end user that gets punished.
Isn't it though? Isn't it? But I don't know, guys. I use hooky websites to get tickets sometimes, so maybe I'm not part of the solution, Tris. I'm actually part of the problem. That's what that is.
That's true. That is true, mate.
Tris, keep listening, because we're going to find out what Errol Flynn and Roddy McDowell have got in common. And boy, oh boy, it's a whopper. 08444991000. Yes, Jay.
Hip, 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 Ian.
Hip, 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 Jay. Nice laid-back show this evening. Laid-back vibe.
I'm glad you didn't come to me any quicker than that, because I answered that question. About what Errol Flynn had in common with someone else, so it's good if you didn't come to me too quickly.
Okay. Well, shall I come? So
no. Yeah.
I could go.
Moving swiftly on.
Yes.
The reason I called, I fell asleep last night. I didn't get a chance to shout California Raisins down the phone at you.
Would you class the California Raisins as a band? I mean...
Well, hang on. As the world's biggest Monkees fan, I'm sure that, fictional bands are perfectly acceptable.
Well, fictional bands are... Well done. Touché, sir. They were a brand. I mean, but did they have a record out?
I don't know.
Well, then they're not a band. They were a brand, and they sang...
Archies.
The Archies had records out, but they're named after a place in America.
See, I don't know that they didn't, though. You see, I don't know that they didn't. What about John Denver, then? Did someone say John Denver?
I said John Denver.
Right,
Jay, I mean, listen, what is wrong with you, man? It's like you
I'm falling asleep. What can I do? And that's not even why I called in. Not even why I called in. I've got a film for you. Film ring.
Yeah, go on.
It's right up your alley, and you reminded me of it. We were talking about Quantum Leap. Have you seen Dimensions?
I have not seen Dimensions. No, tell me about Dimensions.
It's a small, independent, fictional film, so it's not a documentary. And I heard about it. It was on as part of the Science Festival up here in Manchester a few years ago. It's a really nice little low-budget science fiction film that deals with the multi-dimension theory.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got the bully off of Inbetweeners. He's in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's made by a husband and wife director and writer team called Anton and Sloan, and I met them and they were dead nice. And it's a really cool film. I think you'd like it.
Oh well, I might check that out. I don't know when because I'm busy for the next 3 days. But yeah, I'll have some of that.
It's a good one.
All the effort that goes into making a film. I do wonder why people can be bothered.
Well, I know, and it was a real kind of labour of love for them. They tried ages to get it going, and Sloan is the director, and she has worked in the business for ages, and her husband's a writer, and he did all the music as well.
Yeah.
And it was a real kind of, bootstrap kind of.
It's just so much. It's just so much hard work to make a film. What's the point? Here's a question for you. Call me now. 0844 499 1000. What's the point of making a film?
What's the blooming point?
What's the blooming point of making a film? I mean, really? Most of them are rubbish.
Who benefits? They would have made money out of that. Who benefits?
The thing is, you make a film, right? You spend all this time and money making a film, and then someone watches it for 90 minutes and goes, it was all right.
It's all right, that.
It's all right. You know, and then what? So what?
Pass the time.
Maybe, but it's taken like 2 years to make that film, and then within 90 minutes it's gone.
Yeah.
Pointless. I say we have enough films.
Yeah, everyone stop.
Stop making films. Let me catch up on the ones that are out there already.
It's too much out there.
I remember when I worked in HMV, and one morning after a particularly frisky evening, shall we say, I walked in, and suddenly it dawned on me. And this was a small branch of HMV in Slough, so I'm glad it wasn't one of the bigger ones, because I would have gone nuts. It dawned on me, all of the music that was in that shop, there was just so much music, like years of music, that you could never listen to all of that music before you died. And then I thought, what's the point?
You still kept buying music, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I know, and I've got too much.
Hypocrite.
I'm a hypocrite. Yeah. No, fair play, Joe. You've got me sus there. I'm a complete hypocrite. I'll give you that one. Yes.
Alan Bezic. Someone called him about him a few days ago.
Yeah, he's a radio host, isn't he?
He is. He's on Manchester, BBC Radio Manchester. Back where he belongs in the late night phoning.
Any good? Should I be worried about the competition?
Well, he's been around for decades doing it. So if he's not made an impression on you yet, I doubt he will. He's pretty good at it, though. I'm not usually a one for talk radio, and until recently. But yeah, he's all right. He's all right. He's quite good because he doesn't pussyfoot about. If someone annoys him,
are you saying I pussyfoot about? Is that
no, absolutely not. The opposite. Probably one of the things I like about both of you is that if someone phones up and starts talking nonsense, you challenge them on it, which is pretty good.
I haven't yet in this phone call. Who's the best? Oh,
you are.
Oh,
you are.
That pause.
You are.
That pause.
Well, I had to give it due consideration, didn't I?
That pause, Joe. No, you didn't. Name me
too quickly.
Name me. Ask me who ask me what the best band in the world is.
What's the best band in the world?
Beatles. Straight away. No pause. So, and I've just given, and that's out of all the bands, and there's like 150, maybe 160 different bands. You had between two men.
You also made me ask the question. So
all right, ask me a question where it's my opinion.
What is the best sport?
Football. Straight away. Boom. Straight in.
You don't like football? You don't like football?
You didn't. Sorry, did you ask me what sports do I like or not like? No, you asked me what's the best sport. Football. Don't have to like it for it to be the best sport. Beatles aren't my favourite band, but they're the best band.
But I'd expect you to think about it, give it due consideration.
Right. Well, give me another one. Give me one where it's a choice of two. Give me one where it's a choice of two.
Choice of two. Okay. Would you rather never eat burgers or chips ever again?
Burgers.
You paused. You got to think about that.
I did not pause. There was no pause. I was a
Yeah.
vegetarian for 27 years, so I could live without burgers easily. Chips, I could not live without.
Yeah, I've messed up there. I've messed up there.
No, but
big
what
time,
the
haven't I?
point is, there was no pause, right? But when so Alan Beswick and me, yeah,
you.
I didn't ask a question, mate. So that's just weird. Now that's patronising. Now you're patronising me, Jay. Do you know what? I'm going to give you short shrift. I'm cutting you off for wasting my time. Gone. Kieran and Craig, stay there. You could be coming up, dear listener. 0844 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Uncut after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Kieran.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Kieran. What have you got for us, boss?
Well, then I don't know about...
Stop stammering! Now speak.
Thank you.
Now speak.
Okay, no.
There we
Thank
go.
you very much.
It works.
Have you seen a kind of very small film? It is about kind of time travel.
Yeah.
And it's called Back to the Future, Part 3.
Back to the Future, Part 3?
Yeah.
So that means what? There are two more before that, are there?
I'm afraid so, yeah. But if you want to watch the third one, ideally watch 1 and 2 first.
I couldn't just dive straight in. I'd have to watch them to get the idea.
Yeah, maybe, but and they can maybe read a kind of Wikipedia page first about kind of 1 and 2, and they kind of just to fill you in, yeah.
And where is this?
Now,
Is this what is this on Netflix, YouTube? Where am I going to find this Back to the Future 3?
I think it's in the kind of Blockbusters. I think Donovan, you might find a copy there.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah,
I'll have a look. I'm watching. Apparently, Julia Hartley-Brewer is on Question Time this evening, and I'm blocked from following her. Or she's blocked me on Twitter. I have no idea why, but she's blocked me on Twitter. And I can see her and Johnny Gould and other people. Basically, everybody from Talk Radio is having great fun, having classic banter with Julia Hartley-Brewer.
Yeah.
No, I'm blocked by her. But then someone, Sean Klein, has tweeted. I see all the tweets to @Talk Radio. Okay. Remind me never to listen to @Talk Radio if the level of presenter is what's on display on tonight's BBC QT.
Oh.
I'm gonna find that guy. What's his name? Sean Klein, and I'm going to...
No. And doesn't she actually stitch you all up by being dull and stuff like that, And why are you not on there tonight? I'd watch it then.
Oh, I wouldn't go on Question Time. I would be... No. I would be...
I think you'd have a go, wouldn't you? I'd be out
of my depth on Question Time. Very rarely do I get out of my depth. I would be totally out of my my depth on that. So no, that ain't never going to happen. Okay. I wouldn't have a clue. What do you think? Well, what do you think? I want to ask the panel. What do they think about migrants? I don't know. I mean, some are nice. Yeah. I think they're all right. And then someone will go, but they come over here taking all our benefits. I go, yeah, that's bad. Well, do they? I don't. Is that? I don't. Oh, I'll pass. Pass on that one. Next one. I swear to God, I'm going to have a really good answer. Yeah. But this one, I'm passing on. I'd be good on the funny question at the end. We've got time for one more question. The gentleman in the blue jersey with the glasses. I'd like to ask the panel if you could, if you had to go gay to save the world, who would you go gay for? And I'd be straight in there. I'd say George Clooney from about 2004.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. So I could do that, but
I think we'll get a round of applause on them.
The heavier questions I would probably struggle with.
Fair dues. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I hope that's cleared things up, Kieran. Do you know what Roddy McDowell and Errol Flynn have got in common?
Have they got big wangers?
That is actually the answer. Did you know that?
Well, then I heard about Errol Flynn having one, but I didn't know about the McDowell.
Yeah, Roddy McDowell and Errol Flynn both famously had the biggest schlongs in Hollywood. I mean, we're talking Here's a phrase I heard the other day. I said a phrase the other day and someone completed it. I'd never heard the completion of the phrase. Who was it? It was a woman.
Can I guess?
Go on.
Is it a baby's arm kind of holding a peach or something like that?
Holding an apple, yes.
Holding that, yeah.
Isn't that a horrible turn of phrase? I've never heard that before.
That's a bit naughty.
It's a bit naughty, but yeah, it's true. They've both got the biggest. 5 people have just put their phone down. They obviously had the answer. They've both got huge what's-its. Isn't that?
Yeah.
What a great thing to be known for.
What a beautiful thing.
Yes, isn't it? Just Kieran, thank you for that. 0844 499 1000. Of all the Hollywood legends to be passed around, that really is, that's quite outrageous. Errol Flynn. I don't know much about Errol Flynn, but he famously had sex parties. Did Errol Flynn swing both ways? Yes, when he was Robin Hood on a rope. I think Errol Flynn may have been famously bisexual in the days when it was not so so trendy. I said that just to annoy people. But he would have huge orgies and things. I may be making this up. I don't really know. 0844 499 1000. Craig, Glenn, you'll be next. You could be after that. This is Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Well, someone just dropped off. Did someone just drop off? Were there 2 calls lined up, or was it just Craig? There was Craig and David. That was it. Craig and David. Good evening, Craig.
Evening, Iain.
Evening, Craig. Wagwan, Craig.
Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet.
Sorry?
Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet.
Now, thank you. At last, a listener who's done his homework. Well done. And Catherine, did you hear that? Just say that again so Catherine can hear it.
Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet.
Now, Catherine, had you done your homework, you would know where that is from. Where is it from, please? Right, so what's the picture on the front of the golden syrup? Craig?
It's a bear that's dead with bees.
No.
Sorry, not a bear, lion.
Yeah. And they're not bees. Oh, no, they are bees. Yeah, you're right. It's a really horrific picture of a lion. And it's got. And do you know where that quote comes from?
It's Samson, isn't it?
Is it Sam? No, it's not Samson. No, it's not Samson.
Riddle. It's Samson's riddle.
No, it's not.
Which brings me to the second part.
No, well, hang on a minute. You can't go to the second part because you're wrong on the first part. The lion is from Daniel. It's from the Bible. The lion was slain by Daniel in the pit.
I'll take your money now, shall I?
No. Well, why? Because you're wrong on this. The lion on the front of the golden syrup was slain by Daniel, and the bees.
Daniel, the strongest man in the Bible, or was that Samson, the strongest man in the Bible?
Well, Digby's the biggest dog in the world.
Lion.
No, but Daniel was exactly. Well, Daniel killed a giant, mate.
No, David killed.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of David.
It's fine.
Well, it's not. So either way, it's not Samson.
Daniel lived with lions for a bit in a pit.
What? Who was Daniel? Let's.
Daniel was in the lion's den.
Right. So it's Daniel.
Samson, the strongest man.
Yes.
Killed a lion, came back, and found that the bees had got in it.
Ooh.
Then the Philistines bribed his wife to get the secret because it was all Samson's riddle.
Well, do you know what? I might let you off on this just this once.
No, I'm not having your money. I asked you if I could have your money.
I'm going to let you off on this one, Craig, and I'm just for English Welsh relations, I'm going to concede that maybe it was Samson. But either way, I'm still brilliant at everything.
Except for Bible history.
Well, I used to be able to. When I used to go to Wednesday Club, we used to have a game.
What day was that? What day was that?
We used to have a game, and this is like the age of 7, right? Where we'd have to stand up and we'd they'd say, sheathe your swords, and that meant you got your Bible and you put it under your arm, right?
Okay.
And they'd say, draw your swords, and you'd hold your Bible up. And then they'd give you, like a passage in the Bible to find, Corinthians 2, verse 3 or whatever. And the first person that found it and started reading it was the winner, right? And 9 times out of 10, it was between me and Fiona King. Me and Fiona King. And I was treading a lonely path in that Pentecostal Christianity because Fiona King's family were all part of that church. Mine weren't. It was just me. They just did it to get me out of the house on a Wednesday night and a Sunday morning. So it was pretty much tied between me and Fiona King. Fiona King's brother, of course, and I've said this many times before, it's a true story. What was her brother called, Craig? Wayne. They were a devout, religious family, and they called the eldest son Wayne King.
Well, they wouldn't have associated it, would they?
They would know the word Wayne King.
They may not even know the word. That's the point.
They would know Wayne King. They would know it.
Well, they would. Cause
you're telling me they hadn't heard the word Wayne King and they didn't make that connection. So, Mr. and Mrs. King, what are you going to call your firstborn, your son? We're going to call him Wayne. Really? Yeah, Wayne King? Yeah. You sure you want to go with that? Because I'm going to say it sounds a little bit like Wayne King. They go, yeah, we're going to do it. All right, fair play. Lovely family, absolutely lovely family, but you do wonder.
Yeah, excellent work.
I wonder if I'm going to see if I can find him on the internet. Anyway,
he might have changed his name. I would have.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. This could be him. I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue what he looked like.
Either first or second name change. I'd definitely change one of them.
That might. Do you know what? I think I found him in the world. Isn't it funny that within? Well, it says he's from Reading. That can't be. Let me just type in. Hang on. Yeah. It's him! Unbelievable. No, it can't be him, because he's saying his sister is white, and I know for a fact that she isn't. Anyway, I'll do that tomorrow when I'm supposed to be looking after the kids. Anyway, Craig, what have you called in for?
Well, it was that, and also to tell Cass, you don't need to lie, because I am a Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
You don't have to lie to us. Just say you're not interested.
Oh, no, hang on. Why are we talking about... This was all on yes. This was two
days ago.
2 days ago. So hang on. Who was lying to Jehovah's Witnesses?
Cass says, you should say... She says she's Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
If you just say you're not interested, they're there to talk to people that want to talk to them. You know, it's not... You know, we don't want to waste anyone's time.
Are you one of the new good-looking Jehovah's Witnesses?
Not.
But they've done this. Is this like... Have you guys had a meeting in your meetings hall about this? Because it's true, isn't it? There's now hot women and suave, attractive older men that go door to door.
No, there's probably just a better class of people in your area.
That could be it. That could be it. I always. It's hard when someone knocks at the door now because I've generally got kids home, and it's like I've got the kids, but I've not invited them in. But I'll stand and have a chat on the doorway for a little bit. I'm not going to be rude to you guys.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like they're just there to talk to people.
Well,
then,
but they're there to push a very the job is witnessing. You are witnessing. You are being a witness, and so it's there to push a very particular brand.
Not a converter, though.
Huh?
Not a converter.
But you'd like it if they were converted, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because obviously the thing is, right? We believe the Bible is a literal book. It's a history from the Adam and Eve thing all the way.
Yeah.
Jehovah the God.
You're really surprising me, isn't it? Funny you don't know people. Go on.
There's a real devil.
Yeah.
There's a real demons. The whole business. So you can imagine, like with my sort of mad head, how sci-fi films and all that. It's like, it's just like real life to me because in my head.
But so do you think that there's a hell? That hell is underneath the ground?
No.
Where
the Bible doesn't teach of eternal damnation. That's one of the myths.
But where is heaven then? Is heaven in the clouds?
It's a different dimension to us. You can't.
See, I can dig that.
Just as we can imagine things going on forever because we can see trees that don't die, yeah, or live for hundreds of years.
Yeah, but hundreds of years isn't forever.
Or, but you can imagine something staying there, like the sun or whatever.
But the sun isn't going to stay there forever.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. In the universe that I believe in, there is an almighty God that has control over all physical things. So even though the sun would burn out on its own, there's somebody there that can kick in and...
How old is the Earth?
Billions of years
and
old.
But that's not in the Bible, though.
The days of creation aren't literal days.
Hang on a minute, you just said that the Bible was a literal book, an instruction manual.
There are examples
So it's literal until you don't want it to be literal, then it's metaphorical.
Hang on. There's other examples in the Bible where days are used to mean years or to mean weeks.
But how do you know that?
Well, that's the thing.
Oh.
You study it. The Jehovah's Witnesses produced Bible aids or books that help you study it.
That filled in the blanks.
But they always direct you to the scripture, and it's always up to you to decide for yourself. No one can force any religion on anyone.
No, but so there are bits of the Bible that you guys take literally, and then the bits that don't quite fit into your way of thinking we're allowed to take metaphorically.
Well, no, there are metaphorical parts of the Bible.
But you just said, you started off by saying it was a literal...
No, I said the history of the Bible is literal. So I believe...
You said the Bible was an instruction book.
I never used those words.
I think you came close to it.
I believe... See, here's the thing, right? People think they're going to die and go to heaven. Again, that's not a Bible teaching. So if you think about it, if Adam and Eve were real, right?
Yeah.
If they hadn't done the sin, where would they be?
Well, I don't know, because they weren't real.
Well, I know, but in my universe, where I believe that it's real, they would still be on Earth, yeah?
Yeah.
So the whole paradise, Garden of Eden thing was for the whole Earth to become a paradise. Yeah? And it's only when sin was introduced and
okay, but heaven's got a limit, hasn't it? Heaven's got a limit of 144,000, according to you guys, right?
There's a certain class of humans that will go there to be judges, yeah?
Right.
Because they've lived the lives of humans, they know who they are. Nobody can judge who.
But then, surely there's more than 144,000. Isn't there something like 2 million Jehovah's Witnesses?
8.5 million.
Right. So what? So some of them are going to be well gutted.
So you know Lazarus, yeah?
No, but answer this: if only 144,000 can go to heaven, then what about the other 7.8 million?
You know, Jesus resurrected Lazarus.
No, but answer that bit.
To the earth.
Yeah, they're going to be walking the earth.
The people will be resurrected to the earth to complete the purpose that God wanted every human to live on the earth in happiness.
So they're going to die, but then they're going to come back to earth.
Apart from those that die at Armageddon, which is the apocalyptic judgment day.
When's that?
We wait on that one.
Is it still the jury's out?
Well, yeah, the thing is, that's why we go from door to door.
But if you're full up, though, what's the point?
No one can judge who's going to live or die. It's up to God.
But how can you, the thing is, right?
Okay.
This religion was started at the end of the 19th century by an American preacher, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of things have changed over the years as well.
Yeah, but how can suddenly, in like 1880 or whenever it was, some American preacher go, "Oh, I've got it. Yeah, no, I've got it now. Right, all the other religions, you're all wrong. I've got it. I've got it. We're going to call it Jehovah's Witnesses, and boom, we're in."
It's a really long answer, but the short answer is, if you believe in my universe where God is an active person, it's God's time to start things rolling because Armageddon is approaching.
What about, I heard a thing on another radio show the other day about disfellowship, right?
Yeah.
And this couple, it was a really sad story. This guy was saying how his parents got divorced.
Yeah.
And he was a kid, he was like 9 or 10, and because they got divorced and it's not recognised in the Church of Jehovah's Witness, the whole family was disfellowshipped, including the kids. And so people that he considered to be like, aunts and uncles within Jehovah's Witnesses turned their back on him.
Right, it's two parts to it.
Yeah.
Divorce is okay on grounds of adultery. Right. So if one partner has committed adultery,
but the adulterer then gets disfellowshipped.
Right. The attitude to the act. Yeah. So. But
what about the kid?
If I'd been an adulterer.
Yeah, but what about the kid?
And I wasn't sorry for it.
Yeah.
I could be disfellowshipped.
But what about the kid?
The kids are fine. Basically, when you get baptised, you're an adult, You're not baptised as a child.
But the kid had been... the kid was shunned by the Jehovah's Witness family.
That shouldn't have happened. Basically, if you're baptised, then you've made an oath, similar to a marriage oath.
All right, listen, we've got 2 minutes left. Very quickly, babies with cancer.
Terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, but how do you justify that with your God?
Because if you're a person who can put things right after something has happened, but you have to allow it to happen to solve whether the devil was right or not, you can fix things after. It's different. It's a different perspective to us.
But you're fudging it. Answer the question. How do you explain babies with cancer in your universe?
When Satan said that God didn't have the right to be our God, God then had to show through letting Satan's world go that Satan's world was rubbish and it messed.
So God could step in and save babies with cancer. He chooses not to prove a point. That don't sound like a loving God to me.
No. You're not. We would fix it as a band-aid now. We'd fix cancer, but we'd die.
Yeah.
If that baby died, tragically, and even if they suffered, if you had the power then in the resurrection to bring back a perfect baby...
You're not making sense now, Craig. But
it's hard to do in a phone call.
No, I know it is. I appreciate you doing it. I'm throwing at you, but that is the big thing. Kids with cancer. How does a loving God
if you could take the pain away?
How does a loving God let kids have cancer and die in front of their parents?
If you could take the pain away and take the remembrance of the pain away,
right,
that would solve the problem, wouldn't it?
Well, no. I'd rather have a kid that was alive and didn't have cancer.
But if the kid ended up being alive and didn't remember the cancer.
What?
If they were resurrected and didn't remember the bad things, then that problem's solved.
It would be if only resurrection were a real thing, Craig. But I've got to end it there. But I enjoyed that. Thank you. Isn't it funny? You never, you know, I appreciate that, Craig, and I threw that one at you, but didn't understand the answer, and it sounded a little bit like bullshine to me. But on your merry way you go. Thank you very much indeed. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. Glenn and Honey, I'm going to come to you after the news, if that's all right. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
A radio star is born.
You're going to love
Talk Radio. Talk Radio.
Another hour of this to go, guys. And considering we had nothing to talk about, I don't think we've done too badly. It's actually been quite an interesting show, I'd say. No, laid back and kind of just having a chat on late night radio. That'll do me. If you want to take part, 0844 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
A used pink bathrobe, a rare mint snow globe, a Smurf TV tray I bought on eBay. My house is filled with this crap. Shows up in bubble wrap most every day. What I bought on eBay. Tell me why I need another pet rock. Tell me why I got that Alpha alarm clock. Tell me why I bid on Shatner's old toupee. They had it on eBay. I buy liable to snipe you with 2 seconds left to go. Whoa, got PayPal or Visa, whatever'll please ya, as long as I've got the dough. I'll buy your tchotchkes, sell me your watch, please. I'll buy. I'm highest bidder. John keeps arriving in the mail from that worldwide garage sale. Dukes of Hazzard, hey, Dukes of Hazzard ashtray. Oh yeah, I bought it on eBay. Wanna buy a Pac-Man Fever lunchbox? Wanna buy a case of vintage tube socks? Wanna buy a Kleenex used by Dr. Dre? Found it on eBay. Wanna buy that Farrah Fawcett poster? Has dispensers and a toaster. Don't know why. The kind of stuff you throw away. I'll buy on eBay.
We'll play the,
what
yes?
I bought on eBay.
I love the fact on YouTube. On YouTube, there's a massive advert for Vimeo, which I think is the enemy company. Well done, those guys. It's like us having adverts for LBC, huh? We'll play the Weird Al interview a little bit later on. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. Honey!
Hello.
Hey, honey. What's wrong? You sound down.
Yeah, we have beef.
We have beef?
Yeah.
Oh.
You were, like, slagging off filmmakers earlier.
Film majors?
Filmmakers.
Film
Or
majors?
people who make films.
Filmmakers? No, I don't think... No, hang on a second. I wasn't slagging off filmmakers per se. I was saying that pretty much their entire lives were pointless. I don't think that's slagging them off. It's so much effort. I've worked in TV and I've seen TV and I've been on film sets and I know people that make films. And there's so much work. Literally a movie, like a 2-hour movie. It can be like 3, 4, 5 years making that film, from having the idea to going to the premiere. And you kind of think, that's a waste of time.
I know, but how great must it feel, like, when you go to the premiere and you're like, wow, this is my film, and then people are like, that was so good. And,
but what if it's a stinker?
well,
What if you make a film, right, and you get like 1 star, and not even Paul Ross, who says good things about every film. You can't even salvage a quote from a Paul Ross review of your film. What about that?
Oh, yeah, I guess that would suck.
That would suck big time.
That's why you have to put, like, loads of effort in
do
and,
your
like,
best.
come up with a good idea.
Kayla, we'll do our best. Sometimes, honey, people's best is not good enough.
True.
Have you ever seen Danny Dyer act? No, of course not, because he can't.
Oh.
That was cold.
Yeah. He's going to... Well, no, he probably won't come after you for that.
No, I'm teasing. I quite like Danny Dyer. I think he's all right.
He's
actually,
funny.
I don't know why I said that. I think he's all right. What was it?
Anyway,
yes, I met Danny Dyer. Actually, he's a nice bloke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you met anyone from The Who, as in Pete or Roger?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, sounds like time for one of my many Who stories to come out here.
Oh, no.
Yes. Have I got... Can someone tweet me the clip of me at the Royal Albert Hall, please? Because I haven't got it. I used to have the clip. I don't think I've got it. 2 stories. First story. We'll start with the small story and then we'll work up. First story. I won the Best Breakfast Show award at the Sonys two years ago. Thanks very much indeed. Backstage, there was a wee old man there, very tiny fella. Oh, it's Roger Daltrey from The Who, one of my favourite bands. And I thought, do you know what? I'm full of cockiness, a little bit self-assured. I've got an award in my hand. I'm going to go and speak to the man. I went up to him and went, Roger, can I just say, I really like your music with The Who. I specified his music with The Who. And he went, all right, yeah, nice one, mate. Thanks very much indeed. Now, here's the... and that was... basically, I was saying his solo music was rubbish. Here's the other thing, honey. Many years ago, I used to work at Absolute, a terrible radio station that's got no morals or principles. Ooh. And they work closely, and I've lost the clip, and tomorrow I'm going to spend the entire day finding... Hang on, let me just stay there. Hang on.
Come on, Ian.
Hang on. Let me see. No, I've not got... I need to get in touch with Gareth who recorded it. Right. They used to work in partnership with the Teenage Cancer Trust, which is Roger Daltrey's charity.
Yep.
And they would often get the presenters to go and introduce the crappy bands, right? And I was asked, Ian, would you like to go on stage and introduce Suede? I went, no. They went, oh, really? I said, no, I don't want to introduce Suede. Why would I introduce Suede? They went, oh. I said, who else you got? They said, would you like to go on stage and introduce BDI? I went, no, of course not. They said, oh, because if you introduced BDI on stage, you'd also get to introduce the headline band on stage. I found out who the headline band was. I went to the evening and I hosted the event and I introduced BDI on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome BDI. Then I got to go out a bit later on and I said the following words, honey. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome not just one of the best rock and roll bands in the world, the greatest rock and roll band in the world, The Who!
I'm so proud of you.
So, yes, I'm
jealous.
Got to introduce The Who live on stage at the Royal Albert Hall. Backstage, I was too nervous to speak to them. Backstage, Pete Townsend walked past me. Then he took 3 steps. He took a 3 steps backwards walking, tapped me on the arm and said, nice one, mate, thanks. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about.
Let me just do this on radio.
Yeah.
Pete Townsend, he's also on my list of weird crushes.
Oh, I'd totally go gay for Pete Townsend. Totally.
Hell yeah. Pete
Townsend is awesome. Have you read his brilliant book?
No, I'm too scared. It'll make me really sad.
Why?
Because I don't know.
It will make you sad.
Really
I love Pete Townsend. And that would, for me, Pete Townsend is kind of the last interview I need to do.
Please.
The last thing I need to do, and then I'm done. And then I'm done interviewing people.
Aren't you a bit scared of him, though?
Yeah, I am. But only because I think he's so brilliant.
Good.
I'm not worried he's going to lamp me or do something outrageous.
Oh, he might.
No, not at all. Get his Empty Glass solo album. That is a record.
I've got all his solo albums on vinyl. I love him.
Even All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes?
Yeah, that's like my favourite.
It's a great title for an album. All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes. What a brilliant title for a record. I love Pete Townsend. Do you know what? That's my mission. We're going to get Pete Townsend on the show, and as soon as we finish that interview, I'm going to go, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much. Good night, and I'm going to quit. And I'm going to quit radio, and I'm going to go and live.
Okay, but when you get him, you're going to let me talk to him, right?
Shut up, man. You've spoken to Mike Love already.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and fix you up with... You're a 19-year-old girl. I'm not going to fix you up with 74-year-old rock stars again.
Oh, please.
No, not happening, honey, but nice try. I had the clip. Someone who later became a friend of mine, not a particularly close friend, actually, but a really nice guy called Gareth, was recording that event, and he sent me he sent me the recording of me introducing the Who live on stage, because he was kind of mixing the sound and stuff, and that would be long since lost, guys. 0844 499 1000. Glenn, Hannah, stay there. Come to you after this.
Late night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Yes, Glenn!
Hello, Ian, how are you?
Hip, 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 Glenn. Very excited because Weird Al is going to be on the show in about 20 minutes' time.
Oh, thank you for playing that song earlier. Isn't he just a genius?
Which song? The eBay song?
Yeah, the eBay song, but my particular favourite is another one, Ride the Bus.
Oh, yeah, I just think he's brilliant, and it's so easy to dismiss what he does as novelty. And not that there's any shame in novelty, but he says in the interview, because we recorded it a couple of days ago, he says, I don't want to waste a single syllable in the songs.
Yeah.
And there is no flabbiness in those songs. Every single word is sculpted for maximum comedic effect. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. And the track, just the musical tracks, are they're such good pastiches, you know. They're not crappy little knockoffs. They sound like the record, you know. I think he's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, totally. Speaking of underrated music...
Yes.
I downloaded your EP. Is that the way to describe it?
Yes, the controversial... I believe it's been banned by the BBC. They've certainly not played it. The controversial EP that it could be the last release that the trio of myself, Nigel from Maidstone, and Dan, the DJ, ever make, as it's got very tense back at the house where we all live.
Well, I'll tell you this, Ian. I've always had this problem where if I have a very deep thought or a song in my head, I can't help but express it verbally. So if you're thinking of something that you shouldn't say, I'll say it out loud. Or if there's a song in your head, you'll sing it out loud, whether or not you want to. And there's nothing worse than walking out in public, maybe past a group of attractive women, and you just find yourself uncontrollably going, Miley Cyrus, and they just look at you as if you're off.
There was someone tweeted that they, I think they were at a gallery and looking at Michelangelo's David, one of the most stunning pieces of art. Really taps into the soul and the zeitgeist, and they ended up singing Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, you're looking at his Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, and they started singing that, and it really it takes a skill to write a song as irritating as that, and we've done it. We've pulled it off.
But honestly,
it's
not bad, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. It's great.
Good. Quite good.
It's great. It's great. We're not up there with Weird Al levels yet, but I think our next one will probably be much better than anything he's ever done.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it. It's enjoyed me on my trip today. So,
well, unfortunately, I think we're going to split over financial differences. Do bands? Because there was a thing for bands to live together. I know the Monkees did it pretend, and the Beatles did it pretend. That is there a cooler house than the Beatles' house in Help? But some bands, I think the Small Faces lived together. I think Supergrass might have lived together for a while. Do bands still live together? I think that's what's missing in modern pop and rock. Bands sharing a house together.
Not anymore, I don't think. But I'd like to think that maybe in 10 or 20 years, you and Nigel and Barry might do a big reunion tour, maybe a couple of arenas where you all have your separate dressing rooms, you know?
Yeah, maybe. That might happen. That might happen. We might... You know, there might be, maybe not with Nigel because he's a little bit alluring to himself, but I can see me and Dan and Barry doing some live shows together. I can see us doing a concert.
Absolutely. Nigel can be the John Deacon. He can be the one that you don't mind who isn't there anymore.
The bass player from Queen. Here's the thing, right? There are 3 surviving members of Queen. One of them refuses to play with Queen anymore. I cannot get my head around that.
But do you know he's the richest surviving member?
How?
Because of Another One Bites the Dust was such a huge hit in America, and he doesn't pay into any tours that they do, but he still cashes the checks.
Oh, he gets
he's
a bit
genius.
But they all wrote hits, didn't they?
They all did, but in America, the biggest hit was Another One Bites the Dust, which was his.
Oh, good.
Bigger than any other song they did.
Good for him. Because can we be honest? Bohemian Rhapsody is rubbish.
Yeah, pretty much.
It is, isn't it? And it always comes out as the best song of all time. I'm thinking, what? Have you not heard any other songs? It's clever, and it's as a studio production. Oh, it's a great production, but as a song, it leaves me feeling a bit cold.
Well, it's 3 decent songs put together, but there's lots of amazing songs on their own.
Well, let's not get carried away. It's only Queen we're talking about. I
didn't mean Queen. I mean in general.
In
music,
general,
you know.
I like out of Queen. I like I'm the Invisible Man. I'm the Invisible Man. I like that one. That's my favourite. And I also like
Ghostbusters ripoff.
Yeah, I like Bicycle Race.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a soft spot for fat bottom girls. But anyway, back to Queen. I quite like Seven Seas of Rye.
Yeah.
The Seven Seas are... But the rest of it's rubbish.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I'm glad we feel the same way about Queen.
Say that again, sorry?
I said I'm glad we feel the same way about Queen.
Yeah, I do. And I've tried Queen. I've tried Queen many, many times. And I just... It's like, nah, not really. It's all... I tell you what puts me off. It's all that live in Brazil. Dale! Dale! Dale!
Dale!
Oh, you guys are great. Oh, and if you got a microphone stand, either hold the microphone or put it in a stand and stay still. Don't take half the microphone stand and run around with it. All right, you twit.
Didn't you go to Brian May's house?
I've been to. Here's the thing, guys. I've been to Brian May's house. I've stood in his garage where he keeps all his amps. I was making a documentary about Vox, which I've since yesterday I saw this documentary about Vox is being sold for $20 on an American bootleg DVD site, and I got to interview Brian May. Now I'm not a massive Queen fan, but I acknowledge Brian May as a huge rock star, and I respect his position in musical history. And he was playing, he had the guitar and stuff, and he was playing some licks, and I went, what happens if you flick that switch and change the pickups? He went, oh, if I put it here, that's the Bo Rap sound. And he started playing the solo from Bohemian Rhapsody, and I'm stood next to him in his garage, and it's on YouTube. And my face when he does that, and I look at the camera, and you do see 15-year-old me just grinning like a lunatic. And here's the interesting thing about Brian May and his guitar. He won't know where his guitar is now. He doesn't know where his guitar is for insurance purposes, right? Because if someone broke into the house and held Brian May hostage, we want your guitar. Give us your freaking guitar. We want your freaking guitar. We're going to shoot Anita. Give us the freaking guitar, right? If he knew where it was, he'd go, oh, it's downstairs under the... He doesn't know where it is. Every night, his roadie puts the guitar in a leather guitar case and takes it and hides it somewhere secret.
It's genius.
It's genius, and it's a true story, because I was talking to the roadie, absolutely fascinating bloke. He hides it somewhere different every single night, and Brian never knows where his electric guitar is. Isn't that fantastic?
That's amazing, because he made that thing. That's incredible.
Out of a fireplace. Him and his dad made it out of a fireplace.
Amazing.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Actually, now I think about it, I do quite like Queen.
Yeah, they're all right.
They're not bad, are they? They're not bad. I tell you what's missing. Queen should have made a movie in the late 70s. I know that Flash Gordon, they did the soundtrack, but they should have made a film where it's like them living in a house together, and then they have to go around the world to save the world or something. That's what they should have done, and that was their big career mistake. I think was they never made a movie in 1978, a low budget sci-fi movie.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Glenn, thank you for that.
Thank you, Ian. Take care.
Cheers, my dears. You take care, and that is a threat. 0844. Someone on Periscope is saying, why do most whites never talk about important things? What are you talking about? We're talking about Brian May's guitar and the fact he doesn't know where it is. What do you mean? That's the most important thing that a white man can be talking about. Stupid thing to say, you massive racist. Can't be racist, it's a black man. Hannah!
Bop.
Huh?
Hip, hip, hip.
Huh?
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 hip.
So you got an OBE or something?
Sorry?
It says you got an OBE.
Yes, Dr. Iain Lee OBE is my... Since I found out you can change your name on Twitter without losing your blue tick...
Yeah.
I'm having the time of my life.
Blimey, I didn't believe that, though.
Well, I've got an OBE. The doctor bit is made up. I'll give you that. I've got an OBE.
Have you?
Yeah, of course I've got an OBE. I thought everyone knew that.
Oh, don't pull my finger.
I'm not pulling it. Honestly, the doctor bit is obviously ridiculous. I left medical college with only 6 months to go. So while I know most of the stuff, I'm not legally allowed to call myself a doctor. But the OBE is true, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just don't normally I don't bang on about it, but I just thought it'd be a bit of fun to put it on Twitter.
Have you really?
Yes, I've got it. I got it the same time as and I can't remember her name. The presenter lass, she went off to America. June Sarpong. Me and June Sarpong got it at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Because she was doing political programmes at the time. She'd interviewed Tony Blair. That was it. I remember it. She'd interviewed Tony Blair, and I'd just presented Thumb Bandits about computer games. And so we got it for, services to youth culture and stuff like that.
All right.
What you called him for? It's true, though. It's true. What have you called him for?
Easy versus radio.
Yeah.
Am I still sitting at the front?
First come, first serve. That's my motto.
I'll put a towel on the front and see.
No, I forgot that's happening. That's not too far away. I ought to dust off my my notes and work out remember the act. That's what I need to do.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it'll be. We're going to film the one in Luton.
Yeah, that's what I'm coming to.
Yeah, we're going to film the one in Luton and we're going to release it and get rich. That's the plan.
DVD is good.
Well, we might do a DVD. We might, and the DVD would have the whole thing as opposed to the CD, which only had some. And we're gonna. Anyway, I've got to talk to Chris about it because it involves work and stuff. But we're going to release the CD as a download, and we're also going to pair it with another show that I recorded that's quite different. Well, it's kind of the same, but it's a bit different. There's some different bit. There's one different bit in it that I've already put out there for free. So scrap that idea. Involves a lot of work.
Yeah.
Anything else? You're saying out of breath. What's going on there?
Oh, I'm struggling with my depression a bit.
You what?
I'm struggling with my depression a bit, but.
Oh, okay. Would that make you out of breath?
Sometimes.
Oh, well, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny how it can have a physical effect when, it's up in the head and stuff. It's not the head, it's the head and it's the soul. And,
well, that JW who was on earlier, he really annoyed me.
What? Who?
The JW who phoned up.
What now? Why can't you say Jehovah's Witness?
Because they speak bollocks.
Well, they might do, but you can still say Jehovah's Witness, can't you?
Yeah, Jehovah's Witness, whatever they are, whatever one they call themselves.
Yeah.
But
why did he annoy you? Why did that annoy you? Didn't annoy me. I found it quite interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm open to hearing what people want to say.
Yeah.
But they're saying certain things out of the Bible, which aren't actually in the Bible.
Right. So what are you? What are you?
Well, I believe in God.
Right. Well, come on now.
Yeah, but my point is, Ian, they pick and choose things out of the Bible.
And you don't?
No, I believe the entirety of the word is truth.
Right. Well, I think that's bollocks. So I think both of you speak in bollocks. So, but I'm still cool with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not offended by what you.
That's not a very Christian attitude to have that towards Craig.
Yeah,
it's not a particularly Christian attitude, is it?
Well, in 2009, I took an overdose because of a church. They said my depression was part of the devil. I mean, how nice is that?
Well, I listen. I don't want to speak about your situation specifically because that would be unfair of me. But I am of the belief that no one. I don't believe that people. I don't believe that when someone makes an attempt on their own life, that it can be blamed on other people. We make that decision ourselves. No one makes someone. In my opinion, no one makes someone attempt to kill themselves.
No.
But I'm not criticising you for what you say, and that's I genuinely think that we make that decision ourselves.
Oh, I know that. It was my attempt anyway, because I was brought up in that place, and it was horrible.
What, Jehovah's Witnesses?
No, in a church. That was horrendous.
Yeah.
And I made a decision to leave because I knew it wasn't right.
But some people might find your and I don't know your particular faith or the specifics of it or what it would be labelled as, but some people would find that equally as offensive as what Craig was saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone's equal to their opinion. I'm not... I found what I found hard, what he was saying was that only a percent said you're allowed into heaven, which isn't right.
All right, I'm going to do it, Hannah. Kids with cancer.
Yeah.
How do you explain a loving God that lets little babies have cancer?
It isn't God that allow it. It's a sin in the world, unfortunately.
So it's sin that means kids have cancer. So babies that have never sinned at all.
Well, they don't go to hell. They go to heaven.
No, but
they
there's still kids with cancer. I've seen kids with cancer because I did loads of work in Great Ormond Street. It is just the most heartbreaking thing. Now, God could stop that, couldn't he? God could stop kids having cancer, but he chooses not to.
He does. I can't answer. I don't know how to answer that. It comes down to faith. I wish I had the answer, Ian. I really do.
But the reason I'm bringing it up is right. I'm not having a go. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because people will think that your answer is equally as repugnant as they perceive Craig's answer to be to that question.
Yeah. I mean, I ask God, why have I got depression? You know, but I have to trust Him daily to get me through it. You know.
We've skirted over the kids with cancer, which is perhaps the best thing. Hannah, listen, thank you very much indeed. Thank you to Waterstones Uxbridge. I can't believe that guy's still working there. He's the pervert that sent out dick pics or something. I can't remember the story. Something. I think he sent out dick pics under the Waterstones Uxbridge thing. But he's also tweeted the picture of Skinny Me. Look at Skinny Me, the precise moment that Brian May is playing the guitar solo from Bohemian Rhapsody. Look at the face on that skinny boy.
The radio show for people who know the best part of the day is the night.
Late night Ian Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, I cocked up the break, so you can have another break in about 3 minutes. Which is something to look forward to. That would be a delight. And then after that, am I introducing Weird Al, or is it? Okay, we're going to do that. Okay. And then it'll be Weird Al. I've started in a vain attempt to get more people to be aware of the podcast. I've started on my website linking to the podcasts, ianlee.com. So you can go there and you can find the Scroobius Pip podcast and the Noel Edmonds doing a dirty phone call to a cat podcast, and a little bit. I may keep doing it. I may not keep doing it. I don't know. But, but you can go there, and there's other bits and pieces that I put up there, and little bits and pieces. So I'm doing maths on the screen. Okay, if I take a break at 37 minutes, that I have to stop them for adverts, then I have 40 seconds to intro the thing. All right, well, I've got literally nothing for a minute and 20 seconds. Literally nothing. I'm tempted to test the emergency tape to see if that procedure works. Shall we see? Would you know how to override the emergency tape if it kicked in? Let's find out. Let's. This is something you don't get on radio. We're going to have a minute's silence.
Uncut, after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, dear listener, it's been a pleasure taking your calls, but no more calling. Weird Al Yankovic, you remember him from Eat It and other spoof songs, is an absolute genius. I got to speak to him last week, and this is what he had to say. Hey, Al, can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Ian. How you doing?
I'm good, man. We're going to crack straight on with it. Al, it's so lovely to talk to you. Now, listen, I interviewed you before. I don't expect you to remember it. Don't worry.
No, but I do remember. Yes, absolutely.
Do you? We geeked out about the Monkees a lot because that's how I kind of found out about you, because you were the opening act for the Monkees in the 80s.
Well, they're the closing act for me, but yes, that's correct.
What's the line from Spinal Tap? They were still booing the opening act when we went on, or something like that. But that was 6 years ago. You were over in the UK, something like that. It was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Well, I was actually in the UK last fall to do the tour, but when I did the interview with you, that was I think when was that? 2012, I think it was. So 5 years ago.
I didn't know you were over here last year. I missed that.
Oh yeah, we sold out the Apollo. It was great.
Oh man, alive! I missed it. How do British fans react to you over here? What's the difference between you being over here and you in the States?
Well, I have a bigger fan base in the States. I tour. I'm doing a world tour, but it's 95% North America. I don't get as much exposure in the UK, but I've got enough of a fan base to merit coming out every few years. And like I said, we did very well at the Apollo. Thankfully, because of the internet, my fan base has spread around the world a bit more.
Well, this is what I was going to ask about. You're owning the internet at the moment, aren't you? In the ways that you are releasing your songs and also your videos as well. You've kind of made it work for you.
Well, I'm giving them my best shot. I mean, MTV in the States hasn't played music videos in quite some time, and the internet is where people now get exposed to music and music videos. So I've been trying to take advantage of that and trying to, use social media to my advantage. And, the internet's sort of where my bread is buttered these days.
And was it a difficult transition from? Because hey, listen, I don't want to say you're an old man, but you've been doing this for years, and you started when it was vinyl, and then CDs, and then MP3s and downloads and all of that stuff. Was the transition from the traditional way of doing it to the way of doing it now? Was it tricky for you, or did you kind of just take to it and get it?
Well, I don't know about being tricky. I mean, you just have to kind of go along with the flow. You can't be afraid to, go along with what the new technology is and, how things are being marketed currently. And you just don't want to cling to old business models. I don't release things on Edison cylinders and 8-tracks anymore.
Not like I just read a book about Tiny Tim. He was doing that well into the 1980s. He would record songs on Edison cylinders.
Oh, is that true? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, he's an interesting character. What were you when you were younger, Al? When you were like a kid?
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just since you brought up Tiny Tim, I got to tell you a quick little anecdote.
Yeah.
I went to see Ringo Starr in concert at a smaller club in Los Angeles about 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was in like the 10th row, and in the middle of the show, Ringo Starr looks right at me and he goes, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special celebrity guest in our audience." And I'm thinking, whoa, Ringo recognized me. This is really cool.
Oh, no.
He points at me and he goes, "Tiny Tim, ladies and gentlemen."
Oh, no. And did you accept it? Did you stand up and singing Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
I stood up and took a bow. I mean, I don't want to contradict Ringo.
You don't, or shout, "Ringo, sorry, no, it's not. I'm Weird Al, but thanks." God, how uncomfortable that must have been.
I should point out, this is several years after Tiny Tim had already died.
Oh, bless you. Well, you would have made some people very happy there by recreating Tiny Tim for them. When you were a kid, Al, when you were like 12, 13, 14, what were you listening to? What kind of music was getting you going?
I was sort of late getting into pop music and rock music. About that time, 12 years old, I was listening to the Dr. Demento radio show, which I know that wasn't in the UK, but it was all sorts of comedy novelty music like Spike Jones and Alan Sherman and Stan Freberg and Tom Lehrer. I think I got into Elton John pretty early in my teenage years. The Beatles, the Stones, the Kinks, the Who. bands like that.
And what was the plan? I mean, did you start bands at school? Did you want to be a rock star, or was there always this kind of this wicked sense of humour creeping through?
Well, the thing was, I didn't know how to play the guitar or any kind of traditional rock instrument. I played the accordion. That was my axe. I love it. And I found out pretty early on that nobody in my school really wanted an accordion in their rock band. So it was kind of lonely for me. So I figured out pretty early on that if I wanted to do music, I had to kind of go my own path.
And as a kid, were you... kind of, and I say this because this is what I like to think I was. Were you that kind of nerdy kid on the fringes of things that, you were making gags so that everyone liked you? Was it that kind of vibe at school for you?
I guess. I mean, I was definitely the nerdy kid. When I write a song like White and Nerdy, that comes from a lot of personal experience. I was the valedictorian in my high school. I graduated when I was 16, so I was always a couple years younger than everybody else in my class.
Yeah.
So I wasn't super popular. Definitely the nerdy kid. And maybe I used humor as a defense mechanism, but I think more than that, I was just innately weird. I couldn't help it.
Your songs are brilliant. I think they can be taken on a couple of different levels. They can be taken as isn't that funny? He's changed beat it to eat it. Isn't that clever? But when you listen to it and listen to all of those songs, we've just been listening to. We just played Tacky to warm ourselves up for this. The production is, it's not a cheap, quick parody. You put a lot of time and effort into the production of these songs, don't you?
Well, I do, and thank you for noticing. And I have to give credit to my band. I've had the same band since the early '80s, and they're some of the best musicians in the world. And that's my big secret. I surround myself with really talented people, and it makes me sound good.
And how do you go about writing the lyrics? Is it hours slaving away, Al? Going, this Miley Cyrus song is good. I'm going to deconstruct it, or how does it work?
Well, I don't just dash it off. I mean, maybe back in the old days when I was just writing songs for my own amusement, I might write a song in 20 minutes. I think another one, Rides the Bus, my Queen parody, I think I literally wrote in about 20 minutes. But nowadays I realize that when I do a song, it has a shelf life. There might be people listening to it 20, 30 years from now. I might be doing it on stage hundreds and hundreds of times. So I actually spend a little time and effort and try to put some craft into it.
Oh man, just even a title though. Another one rides the bus. It's so beautifully observed, And I'm not saying you're kind of Oscar Wilde or anything, but it's just such a. But do you know what I mean? They're just so clever and so witty and packed full of, I don't want to say gags because that makes it sound a bit demeaning, but just rich with humour. You've got some brilliant word plays going on.
Well, thanks. I try to just make every syllable count. So, I'll agonize over lyrics for a long period of time. I mean, ostensibly what I do is kind of silly, but, I will sometimes spend weeks or even months working on songs just to make them as good as they can be.
You're right. It is silly. And silly, I think, is a really underrated attribute to have. There's nothing, we have a great tradition in Britain of Monty Python, which was very silly. And I think silly is good. Are you surprised that, 30-odd years later, you're still selling huge amounts of records? I think that Mandatory Fun, was that the first album you had that went to number one?
It is. In fact, in the States, it's the first comedy album to hit number one since 1963.
Wow.
So it was extremely unusual and very, very surprising to me. So yeah, I'm amazed that I still even get to do this for a living, and the fact that my career seems to be doing better now than ever is kind of mind-boggling to me.
There's a lot of respect for you, isn't there? A lot of artists consider it to be a badge of honour to have a Weird Al parody of their song.
That's what I've heard. Lady Gaga called it a rite of passage.
Wow.
Kurt Cobain famously said that he didn't realize he had made it until he heard the Weird Al parody. So I've heard a lot of really great things from people.
Is it true? I got this off the internet, so it must be true, Al. Is it true that Kurt Cobain was worried that the parody you were going to do was about food?
I wouldn't say he was worried. He was just curious. Well, I talked to him directly on the phone to get his permission.
Wow.
And I told him I was going to do a parody of Smells Like Teen Spirit. And the first thing he says is, is it going to be a song about food? Because I was sort of famous about doing food songs. And I said, well, no. Actually, it's a song about how nobody can understand your lyrics. And there was sort of a brief pause on the line, and he said, Yeah, okay, that sounds funny.
How do you go about phoning up Kurt Cobain? Obviously now you need, kind of like a special magic phone. But how did you go and do that? And was it prearranged? Did you just get his number one day? How does that work?
Well, that's sort of the exception to the rule. I don't normally talk directly to the artists. Usually it's my people talking to their people and working out deals, behind our backs. But this was a case where my manager was saying, hey, you know what? I've been trying to get a hold of Nirvana's people. They're not returning phone calls. This is dragging on and on. If you really want this parody, you're going to have to find some way to talk to these guys directly. Wow. And a friend of mine was working in the cast of Saturday Night Live, and Nirvana was just about to go on for the first time. And I said, hey, if you can get Kurt Cobain alone in a room, put him on the phone with me. I need to talk to him. And that's what happens. Kurt was given a phone, and I said, hey, Kurt, it's Weird Al Yankovic. And I pitched him, and he was great.
Who's been, and I think we can say this, if not we can bleep it, it's a pre-record. Who's been the biggest dick?
Okay.
Have there been any rock stars that have been massive dicks to you and gone, nah, sorry, mate, you're not having it?
Well, I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to say anything about their character, but there's been one or two in the course of my career that have said no. And that doesn't mean they're bad, horrible people. It just means that they just don't like parodies. So, famously, Prince never let me do a song parody over the years. James Blunt has disallowed me to officially release "You're Pitiful," but that's it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. Most artists actually really appreciate it and get the joke and have a good sense of humor about it.
You're giving the James Blunt song away free online, aren't you? I've noticed on your Twitter feed you're doing that.
Yeah, and we've been doing that for the last 10 years. It was originally supposed to be on my Straight Outta Linwood album, he's just always had a problem with it for whatever reason. And it's it leaked. It's online. It's available for people that want it, and it's unfortunate, but I respect his feelings.
Has anyone ever done a parody of you?
Yeah, actually, there have been some fans that have done some parodies of some of my original songs. There's one guy. I have a song called Hardware Store, which is not a parody; it's an original. And somebody did a parody called Dumbledore and made it about Harry Potter.
Very
so that
clever.
was kind of fun.
Very clever. And you've written some kids' books as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're available in the UK, but yeah, I wrote a couple. One is called When I Grow Up, and one is called My New Teacher and Me. And they did very well. In fact, I'm not sure if this is going to pan out, but we're in the process of trying to do a children's animated TV show based on the characters in my children's books.
It's really interesting because, like over here, you're right. You're not as well known as and people. For a lot of people, your career starts and ends with "Eat It," which is brilliant. But they miss out on the hundreds of songs that you've done since then, which is their great loss. But in the States, I mean, you've sold tens of millions of albums. You've had how many Grammys have you won?
4.
I mean, it's just you've had all these awards. You've had pop stars love you. Parodying their work, and you say Lady Gaga says it's a rite of passage. Did you ever think, Al, that you'd be where you are now? I'm going to say it. You're kind of an elder statesman of a. And I know it makes it sound like you're an old man, but you are. You're
no, but I am. I'm an old man.
You're all right. You're a really old man that's done quite well for himself. No, you're an elder statesman of kind of what I think is a dying art, the art of parody and of the thing we said before of being silly and being stupid and embracing that.
Well, what I love is my whole career is so ironic because when I started out in the early 80s, nobody wanted to sign me to a record deal because I did what was known in the industry as novelty music. Yeah. Because anytime you're funny with music, it's considered novelty. And historically, people that do novelty music, are considered one-hit wonders. If they're lucky, they'll have one big hit, and then you'll never hear from them again. They become a footnote. So, nobody wanted to sign me. They said, we want to sign somebody that's going to be around for a while. Yeah. And the big irony of my career is I've hung around and lasted longer than most of the people I was making fun of in the early 80s.
It's true. You are still going around. I've got to say as well, UHF, the movie that you made, it is just, I was watching it the other day knowing you were coming on. It's still, it looks 80s. but it stands the test of time. It's got some great gags. That gag, I mean, the gag, I had to call my Catherine over, my producer, to show her. That gag when it's the blind guy doing the Rubik's Cube. Is it done now? No. Now? No. And it's just a beautiful gag, isn't it? And it's packed full of those. It's packed full of those gags. Were you disappointed that UHF didn't kind of start a potential film career for you?
Well, sure. I mean, mostly because I was sort of built up to think that it would, because it tested very well with the test audiences. And Orion Pictures at the time was very encouraging, and they thought, Weird Al Yankovic is going to be our new Woody Allen. We're going to be doing, all these films with him. He's going to be like our comedy guy, and they were building me up like this was the start of a major film career.
Yeah.
And after the first weekend, when the box office was less than spectacular, all of a sudden I was a ghost. Nobody wanted to establish eye contact with me. So it was very disheartening at first, but 10, 20 years later, it's become a cult classic. It's done very well on DVD and Blu-ray and cable TV, and one of those movies that took a while to find an audience.
You're doing the tour. It's all in the United States. Most of it is anyway. What's next? Have you got kind of a few ideas in the back of your head? Have you got? Where do you think you're going to go after this?
I've got a few ideas. I mean, I'm working on some TV shows. I'm doing 2 TV shows in the States, Comedy Bang Bang, and I'm the lead voice in an animated Disney show called Milo Murphy's Law.
Oh, beautiful.
And I'm also doing some other feature and TV work, which I'm not at liberty to talk about. Oh. And I'm hopefully going to be doing some more music. But most of next year is a big question mark. I'm not touring at all next year. I'm going to try to spend some quality time with my family and just kind of work on whatever interesting projects come up.
Do you have a studio at home? Is it are you like one of those yacht rockers in the 70s where, hey, I've got an idea, let me go down to the basement and call the guys up, or I suppose anyone can
I have a studio if you consider a laptop and a keyboard a studio.
Yeah.
So I have enough of a studio to make very primitive demos, and then when we do things for real, then I go into a bona fide studio.
Al, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I can't believe I missed you last year, and I know why. Any plans to come back to the UK yet, or is that TBC?
Well, I'd love to. Like I said, next year we're not touring, but we're going to be doing some limited touring in 2018. So hopefully, if somebody out there, some promoter out there wants me, I'll get a phone call and I'll come on out.
2018. Who'd have thought we'd live so long? I'll tell you what. If you're up for it, if you do come over in 2018, how about we get a screening of UHF and a Q&A or something organised? I can sort that out.
That sounds good to me.
Nice one, man. It's a date. Al, it's such a pleasure to talk to you, and it's always I love just going online and looking at your stuff. It just cheers me up no end. So thank you so much, and hopefully we'll get to meet each other again soon.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Ian.
Thanks, Al. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Late Night Ian Lee. Unfiltered Night Talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk. Talk Radio. Talk and entertainment across the nation.
Talk Radio.
Give it some lip.